You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Memphis, Tennessee, home of the Blues, barbecue, and Graceland. Today, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl features two teams who have made huge turnarounds in their program from a year ago. Cincinnati's second-year head coach Butch Jones has returned the Bearcats to the Big East Elite. After a dream start, winning 7 of their first 8 games, quarterback Zach Collaros went down with an ankle injury. However, through the rushing prowess of Isaiah Pete and their defense, the Bearcats persevered, winning a share of the conference championship. Their opponent, a Vanderbilt team, making their 5th ever bowl appearance under first-year head coach James Franklin. The Commodores boast a stingy defense and a high-scoring offense led by quarterback Jordan Rodgers. It's the Big East versus the SEC next. And we welcome you to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. It's Cincinnati from the Big East trying to win a 10th game this season, and Vanderbilt trying to prove to the rest of the country that they are an elite program. They're seeking a winning season. Hello again, everybody. Along with Ray Bentley, who nearly played here in the old USFL days, I'm Dave Lamont. An early Happy New Year. We are delighted you could join us. And the big news for Cincinnati is their #1 quarterback and in many ways a leader of this team, Zach Collaros, is back.
Yes, he is, Dave, and it's pretty much miraculous that he's been able to come back this fast as we take a look at the injury that occurred to Collaros breaking his right ankle. But he's a fantastic dual threat guy, and we'll have to just see how that ankle is today. But he has mastered this offense, and he has been given a lot of freedom to change the play. In fact, offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian told us that Zach knows the offense so well that he's in my head. Well, if he plays well enough and that ankle holds up today, he has a good chance to get into that Vanderbilt defense's head as well.
We're going to have a very good idea how that ankle is because Zach Collaros joins the 3rd member of our team on the field, Quint Kesnick. Quint?
Zach, you put yourself through an aggressive rehabilitation. What drove you through it?
I think a couple things. Obviously I want that to be my last play on the field against West Virginia and us losing that game. So that definitely was the driving force. And just wanted to be back out here with my teammates today. That really pushed me. And I had a lot of good people on my side, that would encourage me along the way. So it's all worked out. And, I'm very lucky and fortunate.
How do you best characterize your mobility right now?
I think it's the best it's been, since that day. 2.5 weeks ago when I first started practicing, I was a little hesitant, but I haven't missed a practice, I haven't missed a rep, and I feel good.
Thanks, Dave.
And we'll get a very good idea as this game goes on about his mobility and how many hits he can withstand. Now, Vanderbilt's quarterback situation, it's been a little bit different, a little bit of injury, a little bit of performance issues, but Jordan Rodgers has become the man.
Right, Jordan Rodgers, brother of Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be introduced to the country today. He started the last 6 games for Vanderbilt and really has kicked the offense up a notch. He's a sneaky good runner and even a better scrambler, David, and he's really improved every time out. Throws the ball with a real strong arm, struggles sometimes on the touch passes, but it'll be huge for him today to avoid the rush and extend plays with his legs, and he could have a heck of a day here.
What an absolutely beautiful day in Memphis. Temperature around 60 degrees, cloudless skies, great crowd on hand. We can't wait for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl to begin.
Welcome to the 53rd AutoZone Liberty Bowl. For the past 5 decades, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl has served as a symbol of liberty and freedom for America. Today, we want to pay a special tribute to our servicemen and women around the world who are fighting to defend the very principle of liberty. AutoZone is America's #1 auto parts retailer, and we're proud to sponsor one of America's most tradition-rich games, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. On behalf of our more than 60,000 AutoZoners at 4,800 stores, we hope you enjoy today's game between the Bearcats and the Commodores, and we wish you a very happy New Year.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
For breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
What is it about taking a first step that we find so compelling? Is it because taking a step represents hope? Or triumph? At Genworth, we believe in taking small steps every day to keep your promises, protect what matters, and prepare for a secure financial future. No matter where you want to go, one step at a time is the only way to get there. Go to Genworth.com, promises.
There it is, a great crowd. Both schools, a lot of interest in this one from Cincinnati and Vanderbilt. Two teams trying to make large statements about the future of their program. Nobody more so than head coach for Vanderbilt, James Franklin. He's on the field now with Quint.
Coach, your first game as a head coach in a bowl. What emotions are you dealing with?
Yeah, just really excited for our kids. Looking out here and seeing all the black and gold that showed up today. Just really proud of our whole program.
What's the mindset of your team right now?
I think they're focused. We've had a great week of practice. We've handled this just like any other week, and I think we're ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Quint. It would be an understatement to call James Franklin and Cincinnati coach Butch Jones energetic. I'm not sure that word does them justice.
Yeah, they both kind of take the lead for their teams, and you're going to see a lot of good highlights from the coaches today and their excitement.
And both these teams, you always wonder about who's more motivated in a bowl game. I think it's pretty equal. Both these teams are trying to tell the country that they are serious programs to be reckoned with. Cincinnati, co-Big East champions with West Virginia, and Vanderbilt trying to get a winning season. This is just the fifth bowl game they have played in 121 years of football. They won the toss and deferred, so UC will be receiving. And we do have a bit of a breeze going from right to left, pretty much at the back of Spear, the kicker. There you see. So that could be a factor today. Ralph David Abernathy IV, grandson of the great civil rights leader, stands by for this kick. And the AutoZone Liberty Bowl begins with a touchback. So here he is, Zach Collaros, the senior from Steubenville, Ohio. And just about everybody in Steubenville, if they aren't here, they're tuned in to watch this one today to see their native son, who loves his hometown, wants to be a football coach in his future. And he worked unbelievably hard to get back for one football game.
Yeah, it's really miraculous, Dave, as I mentioned at the top, that he is able to come out here and compete today. It was something they thought was a long shot at best when he first broke that ankle. But here he is, as close to 100% as a guy could be this time of year.
He has an outstanding running back, number 23, Isaiah Peed, voted the team MVP and one of the best in not just the Big East, but the entire country. And our first play from scrimmage is a fake to Peed. Collaros under pressure, gets rid of it, and underneath, caught made by Adrian Robertson. And Robinson out to 5-yard pickup, second down and 5, as Ray takes you through our impact players, brought to us by Chick-fil-A.
Well, at the top of the list, Dave, is Isaiah Peed, as you mentioned. What a dual threat he is as far as being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, and then also an extremely fine runner of the football.
And we'll get a good look at it right now. He gets maybe a yard to the 26, and maybe not. It looks like he more or less tripped on himself. This is a good Vanderbilt defense, giving up only 123 rushing yards on average per game.
Yeah, I want to mention Anthony McClung, top receiver for Collaros. And then on the defensive side, a guy to look out for Vanderbilt is number 13, Chris Marv, their senior all-everything linebacker. He makes the calls. He gets the defense where they need to be. And he's a pretty tough customer himself.
And they want a timeout. Vanderbilt doesn't seem comfortable at all. And Marv quickly calls a timeout on 3rd down and 5.
And they didn't have the men in the slots covered. People were kind of milling around. So he judiciously uses that timeout.
We haven't even gone a minute, and already a little bit of a crisis for the Vandy defense on 3rd and 5. They burn a timeout early in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
anyone with it. Hankook Tires.
It's so cool. You can put a force field on them and be invisible.
I call first player.
No.
Well, I already called.
Nobody's playing anything until after we get our homework done. Thank you.
Hello? Test drive's not over yet.
It's practically yours.
Hello?
But we still need your signature.
Right now during Sign Then Drive, it's never been easier to get the all-new Passat, the 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year, for practically just your signature. That's the power of German engineering.
Visit VWDealer.com.
Okay, listen up. Make sure everybody's got a bud for this.
There's a saying that time is a great storyteller.
Well then, here's to the next chapter.
So stand with me, brothers, and raise them high.
Because as great as this is, there's even more ahead of us. And the only question is...
Tuesday, when the going gets tough.
Excuse me.
Oh, my God.
Help me.
The tough put on heels.
This is what I had to do to get a job. Okay, my eyes are up here.
ABC's Work It. Series premiere Tuesday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
So it's 3rd down and 5 here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Vanderbilt had to call a timeout. Their defense wasn't set. And that is a new look helmet for Cincinnati that you got to peek at. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But more importantly, Zach Collaros in the offense faces 3rd and 5.
Looks like Vandy's ready to bring the blitz.
And now a false start. So a little bit of a rocky beginning for both sides.
On the offense, number 53, a 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Left guard, Dave, Randy Martinez, senior leader, first big All-East performer. He was going to pull, and sometimes those big guys get a little antsy when they know they got to get out of there in a hurry.
That's a lot of weight to have to pull, almost 300 pounds for Martinez. Now 3rd down and 10. Escapes, wondering about his mobility. Tough throw, and looks like he was out of bounds, and it is. So it's incomplete at around the 35-yard line. Kenbrell Tompkins is arguing that he was in bounds, but the officials had a very good look at it. So Cincinnati will have to punt.
Boy, Tim Fugger, he gets off early here. A nice spin move to the inside. He's the one who pressured Collaros, and then you see right at the end, Tompkins not able to maintain his feet in bounds.
So a difficult spot for Pat O'Donnell, the punter, and maybe even more difficult for Jonathan Krause, the returner, because as you'll see here, Krause is standing in the sun, and O'Donnell will be kicking out of the shadows. Now, eventually, naturally, all the sunshine will go away, but in the meantime, it might be tricky, but this is a funny-looking punt, and it bounces by Krause, and he might as well just let it go. And that's going to go inside the 20-yard line for the 26th time this year. A 61-yard kick for Pat O'Donnell. So here is Jordan Rogers, whose first start of the season was back in October the 22nd in Vanderbilt's game against the Army. He is a redshirt junior from Chico, California. JC transfer from Butte Junior College. And that last number right there, at least one TD in all 6 starts, says a lot.
Yeah, and he has a 3-3 record since he's moved in as the starting quarterback. But their offensive production has nearly doubled since he's gotten in there. Very good runner of the football, manages things well, and he has a nice arm.
You take a look at also the tailback for Vanderbilt at the 11-yard line. Number 2, Zach Stacy, is a good one. And on the delay, Stacy. However, this Cincinnati front 4 is very tough. Walter Stewart in there on the stop. We take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Starts out with that guy you mentioned, Dave, Zach Stacy, just carried the football. He is a second-team all-conference SEC running back who is really good, both receiving. He's an all-around back. He can get it all done. Then Chris Boyd is the favorite target, I think, of Jordan Rogers, and then Derek Wolfe for Cincinnati. They're all Big East defensive linemen will create havoc today.
On 2nd and 10, little trick play here early. Rodgers off of the flea flicker, down the field in the shadows, and it is incomplete. The pass defended by Devin Drain, a cornerback from Plantation, Florida, and it brings up 3rd down and 10.
Great discipline by Drain and company in that Bearcat secondary. As you see, there's really nobody open for Rodgers, and he will do this. He'll throw it up, trusting his taller receivers to go up and make a play, but Boyd had no chance because Drain was all over that one.
And not surprising to see Vandy bring out a trick play early.
No, they had a lot of time on their hands, and I'll tell you, John Donovan, the offensive coordinator, likes that kind of stuff anyway, and he told us he was going to roll something out early just to get that Bearcat defense thinking a little bit.
Rodgers, out on the flat. That was nearly intercepted. There was a chance that time for Malik Bomar, number 4, to come away with that. Zach Stacy was the intended receiver, so it's going to be 4th down and 10. Neither offense able to do much in their first possessions.
And you see Zach Stacy came out of the backfield. He's up at the top of the screen just waiting on that thing. And it looked to me like Rodgers got, I don't know, just maybe pushed inside a little bit as he let that thing go. Wasn't a good throw.
Now look who's back to return the punt for Cincinnati, Isaiah Peed. He's been doing it a little bit more lately, and he's not going to enjoy that return. He was absolutely smothered by Vanderbilt and Stephen Clark. That's a 51-yard punt, and Peed, that's his 7th punt return. He asked to do it as an added dimension to his attack.
He's not back there to fair catch, Dave. That's for sure. Let's take a look at the focus points now for this Cincinnati Bearcat team. And offensively, I think the number one thing they need to do is get Isaiah Peed in space, get him out there and let him use that great lateral quickness that he has. And then they have to knock the rust off Collaros. You know, he hasn't played since November 12th, and there's going to be some I think, growing pains as he gets reacclimated to the situation. And then defensively, the Bearcats need to stop Zach Stacy. He is the linchpin, the key to the Commodores' offense.
Straight ahead, and not much across the 30 goes Peed. Big collision that time with Colt Nichter, number 58, a redshirt junior from Park City, Utah. 2nd down and about 9.
We spoke with Bob Shoop, defensive coordinator for Vanderbilt, and he'll roll anywhere between 18 and 20 guys into this lineup, keeping fresh bodies going.
That's an unbalanced line, and they run in that direction with Peed. And ball came out, but looks like it went out of bounds at around the 35-yard line. So they load up the right side there. It's going to be 3rd down and about 5 to go.
And here's a nice look at Peed just running right at you, and you see the ball gets knocked out, and that's something Vanderbilt has really done a great job of this year, forcing turnovers and knocking the ball loose. It's a mindset, and they've certainly taken to it and done a great job. 27 takeaways this year.
+2 on the season. Here's a big 3rd and 5. Coming from the edges, Collaros is knocked down and almost lost the football. Coming in that time was Chase Garnham, number 36, the sophomore from Fairhope, Alabama. He's battled some injuries, but came through that time for a loss of 8, and another Cincinnati punt is on the way.
All right, here he is right here, and he's going to come late and on this blitz and time it up nicely. And you say, look, nobody picks him up. You see the tackle, Eric Leffield, he's looking inside, doesn't get his eyes back in time to pick up that linebacker.
26th tack for the Vandy defense. And so O'Donnell, whose first punt was 61 yards. Again, we have that shadow into sun situation for Krause, who's standing at the 37. Big pressure that time. This is another low kick. Krause at the 41-yard line. Stutter steps, and he'll get about a 4-yard pickup after a short punt. So excellent field position for Vanderbilt following that 32-yard gain from the 35-yard punt and the 3-yard pickup.
The American Garage, the temple of the tune-up, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Use an oil as durable as Quaker State, and there's no telling how many miles you'll go. But here's what'll happen when you get there. Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelly Blue Book trade-in value of your car. And you keep your car. No other motor oil has the molecules to make a commitment like this. Only Quaker State. Real, durable oil.
The world's most irresistible burrito with crunchy flamin' hot Fritos chips, premium seasoned beef, and nacho cheese sauce is back, and one is never enough. It's Taco Bell's 99-cent Beefy Crunch Burrito.
It's so cool. You can put a force field on them and be invisible.
I call first player.
No.
Well, I already called him.
Nobody's playing anything until after we get our homework done. Thank you.
Hello? Test drive's not over yet. It's practically yours. Hello? But we still need your signature.
Right now during Sign Then Drive, it's never been easier to get the all-new Passat, the 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year, for practically just your signature. That's the power of German engineering.
Visit VWDealer.com.
ESPN's presentation of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
We had a big pregame parade yesterday down the heart of Memphis, the social center of the city, Beale Street. And both coaches down there also gave some speeches. Been an intense week. These are a couple of teams that are wired for this football game. It means a lot to both programs. And it's been defenses dominating in the first few minutes. As so far, we have no total yards in the game. We've had 3 series, and Cincinnati is -5 rush and 5 pass, and Vanderbilt doesn't have a yard gain yet. There are Ray's focus points. He'll explain them in just a moment as Vanderbilt now goes in the minus column. J.K. Schaefer, 3 straight seasons of 100 tackles or more in there for a loss of 3. 2nd down and 13. All right, Ray, we gave everybody a peek. Now explain your focus points.
Well, they got to get Rodgers in rhythm, both running and throwing the football, and that has not happened as of yet. I thought they had to pull out of the bag of tricks early. They did that. Cincinnati was ready. And then on the other side of the ball, they got to keep forcing those turnovers. Strip and tip, baby. That's what they do. Almost had one on the ground early in this game as they knocked it out of Isaiah Pede's hands, but that thing went harmlessly out of bounds.
2nd and 13, Cincinnati, the top team in the nation in tackles for a loss this season. Rodgers, and that's incomplete. Receiver was Jonathan Krause. It'll be 3rd down and 13. Rodgers took a shot that time.
Yeah, he did. I'll tell you, nobody blocked. This man up on the top of the line of scrimmage looks like Mills. Bam, right there. That is Brandon Mills, who does a nice job in what they call the cheetah position. They'll move him around and bring him on a little bit of a delayed pass rush, and he will end up making big shots on the quarterback like you just saw him do on Rodgers.
Out of the flat, a little bit of a tunnel set up across midfield for the first time. Jordan Matthews, the receiver. John Hughes on the tackle following a 10-yard gain, and it'll be 4th down for Vanderbilt, and they've got to get 3.
Yeah, and I think you punt the football here, David. I know you're across midfield. It's 4th and 3, but it's early in this game, and they've kind of won the field position battle here early on. Might as well keep going down that road, and that's what they're going to do.
And that's it. Richard Kent comes out to punt, and Cincinnati hustling Danny Milligan out there, so we won't see Pede this time.
They might want a fair catch of this one, so Isaiah's not going to be out there.
Isaiah would probably try to receive it at the 2 or 3 yard line and take on everybody.
Take a punt out of the end zone. Never been done before.
That is a high kick by Kent. Checks up at the 2. Oh, that's going to be fantastic defensive field position for the Commodores. It's going to be down at the 5-yard line. So a Cincinnati offense that has had a hard time getting going is going to have a very hard time after Andre Howell was able to tip that back. 44-yard punt. The Blues, LeBeau Diddley.
It's
It's the AutoZone Rewards Card, and it's free to every AutoZone customer. It's simple. The more you shop at AutoZone, the more rewards you earn. So get your free rewards card today. It's our way of saying we're proud to have you as a customer. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The American Garage, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. Whether it's your place or the pro's place, more of them count on the trusted advice at AutoZone than ever before. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Let's go to Vegas. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas, baby. But maybe we should head back to the dealership first. Because Vegas. This is a test drive. Vegas.
So. It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. Volkswagen Sign and Drive is back, and it's never been easier to get a Jetta. That's the power of German engineering. Get 0 first month's payment, 0 down, 0 security deposit, and 0 do-it signing on any new Volkswagen. Visit VWDealer.com.
Do you know what my favorite run of the day is?
The last one?
My electric bill was breaking the bank. So to save some money, I trained this team of guinea pigs to row this tiny boat. They generate electricity, which lets me surf the web all day. Took me 6 months to train each one. 8 months to get the little chubby one to yell row. It was kind of strange. Such a simple word. Row.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Lady Gaga live. New Year's Rockin' Eve on ABC.
That's Harry Wayne Casey. You know him as KC of KC and the Sunshine Band. He visited the remarkable St. Jude Children's Research Hospital here in Memphis last month. He had a meet and greet along with an autograph and photo session with the St. Jude's kids and their families. And he's the halftime entertainment also. That ought to be fun.
That's the way I like it.
So from the 5-yard line, Cincinnati, just a little bit of sunshine on their backs and in their faces, but it's still that weird sky going on right now. Gorgeous day, 66 degrees, the third warmest Liberty Bowl ever. Folks back here remember night games that were in the teens, so we drew a great weather card today. Playing it straight, they'll go to Pete. Bounces off the blockers, and he will get perhaps the first down of the day. Let's see where they mark him. That's a 10-yard pickup. Eric Samuels on the stop.
Vanderbilt brings a blitz here, and you're going to see here they all come. You get a hat for a hat, but the vision of Isaiah Pede is what allows him to cut all the way back around the other side and get the initial first down in this ballgame. Yeah, that's the kind of play he can make for you, Dave.
Well, that's amazing vision that Pete has. One of 3 1,000-yard rushers in the Big East. And the Big East Offensive Player of the Year gets the football again. Breaking through some arm tackles, plays off another block. He has another first down before he's pushed out of bounds by Casey Hayward.
Let's take a look at Isaiah Pede and some of his ability to cut back. And he's been doing this all year. There he is. You see him in the backfield right there. They got the circle on him. Watch the vision he has. Man, he sees this gap right there. Even though he's looking and turned the other way, he's able to stick the foot in the ground and get himself up the field.
And they lose the football. Vanderbilt comes away with it with Hayward at the 25, down to the 21-yard line. Casey Hayward, second-team All-SEC performer.
Big play by the Vanderbilt defense. This is what they've been able to do throughout the season. Force turnovers. Early in the year, they were able to do it extremely well. Now they're doing it here again at the end of the season. 6th interception of the year for Casey Hayward. He's been their best cover man back there, and he just stepped in front of Tompkins and took it the other way. And boy, Butch Jones already working the officials.
I'm not sure if he thought maybe there was interference on that play, but the bottom line is it's a big turnover for Vanderbilt. Their 28th takeaway, their 18th interception. And they have one of the many ways this team has gotten better is in the turnover margin. Their +6 improvement from last year to this year. Rodgers shoulder fake under pressure. He is a good runner, and he'll get to the the 16-yard line before 37. J.K. Schaefer brings him down after a gain of 7. Did well to hang on to the ball there because he didn't see Schaefer.
You said he's a good runner, Dave, but he is a great scrambler. And he just has a knack for knowing when things are breaking down, and then has the innate ability to feel where that pressure comes from and then take a play where it looked like a sack for sure. Next thing you know, he's out the other end for 7 yards. He's spectacular at scrambling.
This is Zach Stacy. He'll have a first down inside the 10-yard line. Stacy gets to the 7. So it'll be first down and goal for Vanderbilt off the Hayward interception.
Well, he had a nice block that time as his right guard, Josh Jaleski, pulled around in front, makes the block, and Stacy sees it, makes the cut off of it, and gets that first down at the 7-yard line of the Bearcats.
Zach Stacy now about 10 yards away. They're getting very close, not 10, but about 40 yards away from 2,000 in his career. Stacy again inside the 5 and down to the goal line. Touchdown.
He got a great block from Fitz Lassing, his fullback. Little misdirection type play, and Lassing leads the way, creating the space for Zach Stacy to get the doors on the board.
Ran through some arm tackles too. Both of these backs, Stacy and Pete, are too good for arm tackles. So Cincinnati pays for its turnover. The Collaros interception by Hayward leads to the first score of the game, and now we'll see how Collaros is able to rebound after the 3-play, 22-yard drive in 72 seconds.
Yeah, I don't put that interception so much on Collaros as I do his receiver, Tompkins. Tompkins has got to use his body better to shield that defender and get his body in front of a ball like the one that was intercepted. Let's go back and take a look at that interception, David, and you'll see what I'm talking about. As he's going to be out on the left side. He's out the wide out, just outside of your screen, your picture on the left. You see Collaros right there. That's where I believe Tompkins has to help his quarterback out and step in front. Or excuse me, just ward it off. Right here, you see his body, and he's not physical enough. He doesn't carry that inside enough to make sure Hayward has no shot at this thing.
Tompkins at 6'1", almost 200 pounds, a junior from out of the Miami area. Explaining his side of the story. It's not going to sell in this booth, though. So we'll see how Cincinnati can respond. They began the year 7-1, and then they had the Collaros injury and struggled for a couple of games, and then were able to put it together near the end. They become Big East co-champions, 5-2 in conference play, 9-3 overall. Butch Jones is Big East Coach of the Year. Big East Offensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Pede, and the co-defensive player of the year is Derek Wolfe. So the Bearcats having a banner season. And Abernathy will let that go for a touchback. And Cincinnati will begin at the 20-yard line. Capital One Bowl Week concludes on Monday afternoon with 4 games. It all starts at noon Eastern on ESPNU as number 19 Houston meets 22nd-ranked Penn State in the Ticket City Bowl. Then a choice of 3 games on 3 different networks. 1 o'clock, number 17 Michigan State, number 16 Georgia in the Outback Bowl. That's on ABC. Number 20 Nebraska, number 9 South Carolina in the Capital One Bowl. That's on ESPN. And Ohio State and Florida in the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl on ESPN2. For maybe a 1-yard gain, straight ahead handoff to Isaiah Pede. As Chris Marv, number 13, in there on the stop. Butch Jones, Ray, was a bit of a hot coaching property during this bowl period, wasn't he?
No doubt about it. He had several offers again to lure him from Cincinnati, and he decided to stay. And most of those moves he considered lateral, and he's also, just starting his rebuilding project with the Bearcats. 4-8 last year in his inaugural year, and then they bumped it up to 9-3 this season.
Collaros hangs on to it, tries to get away. He does. And gets it off to the 21-yard line, 25, and again the tight end, Robinson, with his second catch. Tim Fugger was putting the pressure on. That's a 7-yard pickup, sets up third down and a couple.
Yeah, nobody blocks Fugger on this one, and he's going to hate himself. Here he is, and watch him. He's just going to run up the field, and you got to break down. You got to be able to stop your feet and center up that quarterback and wrap him up. And Collaros shows you his escapability, keeping that play alive.
Empty backfield as Speed goes and joins a triangle.
They like to come down here on these situations.
Now they send Woods out to the far side of the field. Collaros hangs in, throws way high. It'll be fourth down.
I think he threw that thing away because Casey Hayward had this thing gloved completely. I mean, he was all over Tompkins. Here they are, one-on-one. You see the matchup. Hayward, good inside position. Got a little physical there. And I could see where Butch Jones, right here, he's like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? That's got to be interference. Butch is in disbelief. I told you he was a character, animated. You're going to see that all day long.
Funny thing is, he's very positive in dealing with his players.
Oh, absolutely.
But the officials are another story.
Not so much.
Catch made to the 37-yard line by Krause. He'll pick up about 5 on the punt return. So, again, Vanderbilt with terrific field position following a short punt by O'Donnell. But O'Donnell is punting into the win as Butch Jones continues to plead his case. And not successfully, I might add, because he's not going to, unless he's thinking of the next call ahead. But he better be careful.
He's working on Michael Mothershed, the field judge over there. And now he's talking to the line judge, Michael Feldman. And they're saying, Coach, you got to settle down here a little bit. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think he's working them. He's trying to get them thinking, maybe we owe this guy one.
So from the 44-yard line where they mark the football, Jordan Rogers send his team into the shade. Stacy, good blocking at the point of attack. Stacy's hurled down, but not until he gets perhaps the first down. Malik Bomar just whipped him to the ground, but it looks like Stacy may have picked up the yards for a first down, and he did.
And one of the problems with this is you're going to get a blitz. Right here, you're going to get a linebacker coming up there, so there's nobody to fold over the top. And then you get a nice block on the remaining linebacker. That's Malik Bomar, who ends up making the play. But there was only one linebacker to take care of business, and Vanderbilt did a nice job running away from that blitz.
But it's
I don't know if it was lucky or not, but they did.
But it's not out of the ordinary for Cincinnati to be this aggressive.
Oh, no, they like to bring it.
Stacy again. This time the hole closes. He is a strong runner. He may have gotten as many as 3 yards. J.K. Schaefer, the all-first team Big Easter, in there, number 37. He is pretty much going to be in on so many tackles. 105 coming into this season.
And Zach Stacy, we got to meet him, Dave, and he's about as wide as he is tall. I mean, 5'9" they list him at. I don't know if that might be generous, and then he's 210-pounder. And he's got great balance. He's built low to the ground, and he'll surprise linebackers because they don't always see him behind that massive offensive line.
Rogers has a little bit of room. He'll go downfield, and he overthrew Chris Boyd. There's a flag down at the 42-yard line, so let's see what this was all about. Well, there wasn't a defender anywhere near Boyd.
Well, they faked that bubble screen, Dave, and Cincinnati bought. And Rogers just missed a wide-open Chris Boyd. Well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Nope. That'll be on Vanderbilt. So it's either going to be 3rd and 7 or 2nd and 12.
Illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield on the offense. A 5-yard penalty, second down.
You see, they're looking over here for the fake quick screen. Wesley Tate was set up to get it, and they just totally, they being the Bearcat secondary, they bit on that bubble screen. And keep that one in your back pocket, because I guarantee you John Donovan, the offensive coordinator for the Doors, will come back to that play.
Second down and a dozen for Jordan Rogers. Empty backfield set. This is an interesting little grouping they have up to the top of the screen. Rogers under some pressure. Get rid of it to the 40-yard line and close to the first down marker. That's Brandon Barton, the tight end, the redshirt senior from Lincolnton, Georgia. That's a gain of 12. He's pretty close to getting the first down.
Rodgers is outstanding when he gets on the run because he's such a running threat. You know, he got to the edge there and was running out of space, but he also showed you the strength with the arm as he just zipped that one, a fastball. And they tell you not to throw it late across your body. Well, if you can throw it like Rodgers can, you can get away with that on occasion.
Very short to get the first down. I'll go to a power formation here. Rodgers on the keeper, no problem. Easy first down. Don't know why more teams don't do that. It almost works every time.
Wesley Johnson is the center and the best offensive lineman for Vanderbilt. And Rodgers does a great job of running the quarterback sneak. And you say, really? How hard is it? But there's a knack to it, and he does a great job with it. Anytime they get a short yardage situation, that's what they like to go to. They got their best lineman and a quarterback who is really adept at converting those plays.
Jaron Seymour to give Zach Stacy a rest. Nothing on the play. It'll be second down and 10, maybe even a loss of a yard. We'll see where they mark the ball back at the 35. If they do, it's a loss of a yard. You see what Vanderbilt did. Larry Smith was the starting quarterback. He did win 4 of the first 6 games. But the offense under Rodgers, the numbers are right there.
Yeah, you see the difference that it makes. And I think in large part that difference springs from his ability to extend plays and keep things alive with his feet. We've already seen that come to fruition here this afternoon.
Stacy back in the game, and he won't get anywhere. The UC front stiffens. It'll be third down and 10. Derek Wolfe. What a remarkable year he's had. 19.5 tackles for loss and almost 10 sacks.
And Coach Jones told us that Wolfe is one of the guys that did a complete 180 in terms of his attitude and the way he approaches not only the game, but his life. He really turned things around, and it manifested on the football field.
Third and 10. Make it almost 11 yards now for Vandy.
Might run the quarterback drawing here if they...
Under a lot of pressure, threw off the back foot that time, threw behind Jordan Matthews. Rodgers could see the pressure coming, and he just got rid of it as quickly as he could. So fourth down and 11.
Yeah, you're going to get Cincinnati just bringing a blitz all the way. Right here is the guy who's going to get the pressure again. Vanderbilt fails to pick up Chris Williams. He comes free off of that. Rodgers felt the pressure and hurried to throw and put it behind his receiver.
So rather than go for the long field goal attempt, they'll bring in Richard Kent and try to dunk this one, unless they have a fake here. And they don't, so he kicks it gently. Did a great job. Kent having a good game here for Vanderbilt as he's able to get it with a little volleyball effort. And we'll see, it'll be to right around the 11-yard line as we head to the field. And Quint.
Guys, not surprising, Cincinnati quarterback Zach Collaros has not found his rhythm yet. Still looks a bit rusty. He hasn't played in the game since November 12th. He's only been, according to the team doctor Angelo Calissimo, he's only been out of the pool for 2 weeks. So there's going to be some rust. And right now, he and his receivers do not seem on the same page. We'll see if he can play himself into a rhythm.
Quint, after this play, I'd like to ask you, since you're down there at field level, another question about Zach, and I'd like Ray to jump in on this also. It's first down and 10 for Collaros, and the UC offense has had some terrible field position lately. They hand off to Pede, and Pede across 15, 20, 25, and he gets down to the 27-yard line. A gain of 17 for the best rusher in the Big East, Sean Richardson, on the stop.
Yeah, they just get a real nice gap scheme. They're a zone scheme team, but they're going to pull around and lead up with the left guard. Right there, you see the big fella. He finds the linebacker down the stretch. That's Martinez on the pull.
Collaros forced to get rid of it that time. And that leads me to my question as we have second and 10 coming up. Now, hold on, we have a flag first.
Yeah, there was a receiver there.
Intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area.
All right, so we do not have a flag. Quint, how does he look to you as far as his mobility and his movement?
Well, it's hard to tell because Cincinnati has not called any quarterback runs. They've done a lot of zone read, but he's given the ball to Pete every time. So they have not called any distinct quarterback runs yet. I think they're going to go slow early and see how his ankle handles it.
Yeah, that's a great point because the quarterback run is a big part of this offense.
Collaros a little high with a throw intended for Alex Chisholm. And I wonder also, guys, if his throwing motion motion's a little bit off, too, because of that.
I don't see that at all, David. I think the throwing is fine. I know it's the right ankle, so that's the push-off ankle when he does throw. But I haven't seen it affect his throws, per se. But the only way I think it's bothering his running is by the fact that they have not called a running play for him just yet. I'd love to see him take one and see what it looks like.
It's a breezy day here, too, and that may be affecting the throwing a little bit. Pede stays in the block. Collaros is just overwhelmed. You see Fugger in there, number 42, but he had a lot of help from the Vanderbilt defense. That's a loss of 5, and Cincinnati will be forced to punt again.
Yeah, and Fugger just comes in on a stunt, basically. It's a TE stunt. This tackle's going to go here. Fugger's going to come around there. There he goes, and you see him. Once he gets the push, he just knocks Evan Davis back into the quarterback, finds him, and tears him down.
Well, Vanderbilt's been very tough in the first quarter. In the last 4 games, giving up just 7 points in the initial quarter. And now a little bit easier, I would think, for Krause, because he's standing in the shade as well. But boy, O'Donnell, he crunched that. And there's nothing Krause can do. It's going to be down at the 23-yard line. That's a 54-yard punt for Pat O'Donnell.
That thing looked like a 747 ready to take off.
It come off his foot really quickly. Yeah, you could say that. All right, Capital One Bowl Week will continue tonight on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern with Virginia. What a story they've been in college football this year, meeting number 25 Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week is on ESPN, ESPN 3D, ESPN Radio, and ESPN 3, as well as streaming live on WatchESPN.com. And hope you have the Watch ESPN app. Stacy. That is a wall there. You see 54, Walter Stewart. Devin Drain also in there, number 11. A 1-yard pickup, 2nd down and 9.
And Cincinnati brought the corner blitz on that last play to get their 8th man in the box. And when Vanderbilt lines up in that 21 look, 2 backs, 1 tight end, it's a running formation. And you're going to see Cincinnati find one way or another to get 8 in the box to combat that. Same look here. And there's your 8 in the box.
Stacy trying to get to the edge, and he breaks a couple of tackles to get it shy of the 30-yard line. Forrest Schaefer helps push him out of bounds. It'll be a gain of 4, so it looks to be the last play of the first quarter. Well, no, he ran out of bounds, so the clock stopped at 17. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Good look at James Franklin, come in and done an amazing job. And boy, the work that he's had to do. You talk about wearing a lot of hats as a coach. He's calling into radio stations. He's going and visiting the sororities, fraternities. He's talking to anybody and everybody who will listen to try and generate some support for his program.
And that is indeed the end of the first quarter. So Vanderbilt, Jordan Rogers taking a blow for the team, but the defense comes up big and sets up Vanderbilt for the offense. This presentation of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl will continue after a message and a word from our ABC stations.
Let's go to Vegas. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas, baby. But maybe we should head back to the dealership first. Because Vegas. No, this is a test drive. Vegas.
It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. Volkswagen Sign and Drive is back, and it's never been easier to get a Jetta. That's the power of German engineering. Get 0 first month's payment, 0 down, 0 security deposit, and 0 do-it signing on any new Volkswagen. Visit VWDealer.com.
I can tell you about Detroit. It's not what it used to be, unfortunately.
It's tough, you know, and I actually had to move back in with my parents.
And I heard about Second Look on the radio. They look at your taxes from last year and see if they can get you more money back.
Any money back from the government would help right now.
Ready for the results?
$1,135.
$2,560. $8,600.
H&R Block. ABC Tuesday in the new year is New Tim and new comedy.
Showtime!
Got it? New year, new Tim, new comedy with the premiere of Work It.
I feel like a woman.
This is what I had to do to get a job. Okay, my eyes are up here.
And you thought your job was a drag.
Oh my God.
help me?
So mark your calendar for New Tim.
That's great.
New comedy, new year.
What a great time to be alive.
Tuesday's #1 comedy, Last Man Standing, and the premiere of Work It. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
10 tons of towing, heavy rocks are loading, 6 gears are shifting, 8 pistons bumping, Sirius XM, and a rear locking differential.
The GMC Sierra, the truck that keeps on giving. Now during the GMC holiday event, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $500 bonus cash on Sierra, plus 1 year of Sirius XM satellite radio, including every NFL game. Hurry, our best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
You know what they say, time heals all wounds. Well, at Southern Ohio Medical Center, we're here to give time a little help. Our hyperbaric oxygen therapy at SOMC's Wound Healing Center uses pure pressurized oxygen to help the body speed healing in wounds of all kinds, including diabetic ulcers and late effects of radiation therapy. It's time for state-of-the-art healing. The Wound Healing Center at SOMC. Very good things are happening here.
How do I celebrate the holidays? Oh, I come to the mall, talk about Ford. Have you actually been in an F-150 before? Ranked highest in initial quality.
Where can I get one of these? These are nice.
EcoBoost engine in the F-150.
The power of a V8 with the fuel efficiency of a V6.
I really want to drive this thing, man.
I'm impressed. I take it right up here, hit the food court.
Just announced for the final days, $1,000 holiday bonus cash. Now get F-150 with up to $7,250 in total savings.
And for the record, final days means, well, hurry.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 5 p.m. only on WCHS-TV.
Well, somebody tell James Franklin that should Vanderbilt run out of players, he's got 4 guys dressed and ready to go. Now, they didn't have to well, they think they're ready. And they didn't have to come terribly far from Nashville to get to Memphis. It's about a 3-hour drive. Straight shot. Cincinnati, not so bad either. You could jump in your car if you'd like, but do what we do. Come a little early and enjoy Memphis and enjoy the area and get ready for the second quarter of this AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Along with Ray Bentley and Quint Kesnick, I'm Dave Lamont. And an early Happy New Year to all of you. Jordan Rodgers leads his Vanderbilt offense. It's been a defense-dominated game, and the only score was set up by a Vanderbilt interception and a short Commodore drive. On 3rd and 5, Rodgers on the design keep. Forget it. J.K. Schaefer cut him off at the 30-yard line. Won't even be close to a first down. It will be 4th down.
A great job by Schaefer of reading his keys and then getting over there to the sideline to make a play. He's one of those sideline to sideline type inside linebackers that can make some plays.
We'll see if Cincinnati, running Milligan out there, can do something with its Richard Kent punt. Kent now kind of kicking into the wind. It gets a little swirly, but seems to be blowing from right to left. Tough snap, and he is able to get it away. Low kick. Milligan, that's a line drive. Fair catch at the 30-yard line. Well, Ray, what does Cincinnati have to do to get their offense going? They've been 3 and out 4 of their 5 drives.
Yeah, I tell you, I think you have to get Zach Collaros running the football. I know that ankle is a question mark, but that's a huge part of their offense, and that's what they've used throughout the course of their season to stretch defenses, loosen them up, and all those sorts of things. And until they're able to do that and make that a part of the threat, I think it plays into Vanderbilt's hands.
Zach Collaros returning from a broken ankle suffered November the 12th. He was told not to expect to play any more football, but he rehabbed fiercely to get back just for this one game. And down the field goes George Wynn. Wynn down into the clear to the 30, 25. Wynn gets a block downfield, and he'll go.
Or they could just hand it to George Wynn and let him go to the house.
69 yards.
You're going to see Wynn just take this handoff. It's a zone stretch play, and they get the edge. You see him do a nice job of staying in bounds, even though the defender was coming down low at him. That was Ladler. He wasn't able to make the play, and it was Wynn off to the house.
George Wynn came into this game with 141 total yards rushing, 69 on that one. The PAT by Miliano sneaks in there, and an explosive and shocking play by Cincinnati has evened up the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
George Wynn, outstanding. He takes his opportunity, makes the most of it with an escort all the way to the end zone, and we're all knotted up here in Memphis.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Miners trust the makers of Peak Antifreeze to protect their 600-ton ore haulers from extreme conditions. You can trust Peak Antifreeze's unique formula to help protect your engine from costly repairs. Peak Antifreeze. Protect your ride, no matter what you drive.
Peak Antifreeze. When you peak, you win.
We're good at tailgating, but to be great, well, you need a little coaching.
That's where I come in. Coach, are we running super cold activation today? Always, Gary. Only Coors Light tells you when your beer goes from cold to super cold. Frost brewed on 3. 1, 2, 3. Frost brewed. Ice down those Coors Lights, baby. Ice.
When it comes to big refreshment, we could all use a little coaching.
Nice crossing pattern, Randy.
We're tailgating at the next level.
Don't do it. Don't you do it.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer.
A little help, guys.
If you'd like to try and guess, it's something very special, I readily confess. 'Cause all I want this season is something from your heart. La da da, la da da.
Thinking of others this holiday season. Travelers.
Is anyone here?
Someone's in the ship.
Tell them all about it. George Wynn, you've just had the longest running play for the Bearcats this season, and we're knotted up here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And Ray, how'd this happen?
Well, it's an outside zone play, Dave, and so what you want to create is a moving wall with this offensive line. And look at them all working laterally. Everybody's on a body, hat on a hat. They get a nice block on the outside, and then Wynn, once he gets the corner, he puts the hammer down, and he's running away from people. Got a nice block at the end by Robinson, his tight end, to get him all the way into the end zone. Huge play for the Bearcats offense.
And you could politely say that before that play, the Bearcat offense was struggling. And hold everything. We've got whistles, all sorts of problems. I'm looking for a penalty marker.
Well, what you had is the red hat is still out on the field. He didn't give him a go sign.
He was not placed ready for play.
So we'll try that again. The point was the Cincinnati offense is the first 16 plays of the game for them, 45 total yards. And there's some other problems they've had. 4 plays was their longest drive. They haven't hit a wide receiver yet, and then they get that.
Yeah, that's what you do. You know, you just keep hammering, and you hope that something opens up for you. And as soon as you do put a little crack in that defense somewhere, boy, it just helps you down the road. It creates doubt in people's minds, and it'll open up other things because people will start to, worry about, what did I do wrong? What else do I have to do? Maybe I got to do someone else's job now. And things start to crumble once you get a little crack in that defense.
Pretty good kickoff.
The wind at his back.
Yeah, and this will be Stephen Clark at the goal line. And Clark, oh my goodness. Oh, wow, was that a shot delivered by Adrian Wiley.
These are the ones that you live for if you're a special teams guy.
Make that Adrian Whitty who knocked the wits.
I'm trying to think of something witty to say, but I tell you what, I ain't going to try and top that hit. That's a good one. Oh, my goodness.
Clean hit, too. No flags. My.
That's something that'll get the boys excited on the sideline.
Woody, a sophomore out of Deerfield Beach. That's right near in between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. And not surprising that Clark is a bit shaken up after taking that hit. Hopefully he'll be able to get back into the game. Jordan Rogers under some pressure. Look out, Cincinnati sackmasters, and they get one there. That's a loss of a yard. 45 sacks for Cincinnati that time. Dan Giordano, number 99. And earlier in the game, I mentioned the UC helmet. You see a number on the side there, and the UC symbol, the traditional symbol on the other side of the helmet. Well, that is the player's bowl gift. They take that home. That is their reminder of being in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl this year.
$200 value and priceless to these guys who are playing in this ball game.
Second down and 11. From Giordano that time. Rogers, he's just right around the first down marker. You see the official at the top of the screen. And it looks like he moved away there after a 10-yard pickup. Sean Hughes in there on the stop, a senior from Gahanna, Ohio. He's going to be short of the first down, third down, and less than a yard to go.
Another example of the excellent scrambling ability for Jordan Rogers. I mean, it's what sets him apart in my mind is his vision and his feel in the pocket, and then his ability to go make a play when everything breaks down. Surprised he didn't run the sneak here.
And they give it to Stacy, and he fights his way to the first down. Nick Temple from his linebacker position came up to make the stop, but Zach Stacy, as Ray mentioned, a compact body, extremely strong, able to power his way through for the first.
Yeah, we enjoyed talking to Zach Stacy and visiting with him the other day. He's got a younger brother, age 15, who has Down syndrome, and he is such an inspiration to Zach. He says, you know, it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. And when he sees his brother Justin, it's always a big smile and always so happy to see him. He says it's hard to be down when he's so excited about life.
And Zach is going to get maybe to the 35-yard line. Malik Bomar, number 4, gain of a yard that time, and a hard-earned yard as Bomar led that rush. But you see how many UC defenders at the point there in there helping with the tackle.
They take roll call on the football is what this team does. And the great effort, both these defensive teams are effort-driven. And that comes from the coaching staff in terms of setting that standard. And then it's on the players to reach that standard day in, day out, and every snap. And both of these defenses have bought into that.
Fake to Stacy. Rogers looking down the field and throws a bad pass that is almost intercepted by Drew Fry, and probably should have been. I'm sure he thinks that way. Rogers was looking for the deep shot all the way, and it's going to be 3rd and 9 instead of a Cincinnati ball.
Yeah, great coverage initially as you see Rogers rolling out. There's nowhere to go with this football, and Fry, he's got to be ready to catch that ball. I mean, when you are playing that center field position, that free safety, deep middle, and you get an opportunity and that ball's in the air for that long, there's no excuse for not tracking it and making that play.
The holding penalty against Vanderbilt was declined. So they had initially moved him back. Now they put him back where they belong at the 35-yard line. So an interesting decision there. Instead of 2nd down and 19, Cincinnati opts for 3rd and 9.
And I like it. I think, you know what, you don't need to play so many downs. There's always a chance something big can happen when you give them a couple extra shots at it. 3rd and 9's a good spot for a defense to be in. Watch this blitzer coming up on the top.
Off he goes, unmarked, and in traffic, that pass is caught and then dropped at the 43-yard line. Unable to hang on to it was Jordan Matthews. Looks like he would not have had the first down, but it would have been very, very close.
Yeah, I saw this particular one on film, Dave. That's why I knew it was coming. You're going to get an outside move there and then an underneath right there by that outside rusher. And that, once again, is Brandon Mills, that cheetah linebacker for Cincinnati. And even though Rogers got it off, he paid for it and then just needs better concentration down the field. I thought that one should have been caught.
And there's Isaiah Peed for his 2nd punt return. First one, he didn't get anywhere with it. Another scoop, and that punt may have been partially blocked. No, it wasn't blocked because that's a flag.
That's roughing. That's the 15-yarder, I believe, right there.
Had the ball been tipped, the flag would not have come out. So a major mistake by the Cincinnati special teams. It might have been Haley in there a little bit early. Now, Butch Jones is going to say, wait a minute, somebody got a hand on that ball.
He's crying tip.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. On the defense, number 31. A 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, Reuben Haley, you're right, Dave, is the guy who was in there with that pressure. And Butch wants to tip, but I don't believe there was. I mean, the referee was standing right there. Let's take a look at it ourselves. You're going to see he just comes free and unblocked, and the punter, he really needs to work farther over with that wall that's in front of him. He kind of stayed behind it. That allowed the guy to get through, but there was no tip on that.
The second, by the way, another concern for James Franklin and his step. That's the second bad snap that the Vanderbilt punter has had to deal with, Richard Kent. So that's something that I'm sure they're aware of and they have to improve on or else.
Yeah, and you're going to see Cincinnati come after every punt until he proves he can snap it perfectly.
But with the penalty, it is Vanderbilt football right at midfield.
A lot of times teams will take deep shots after getting a fortuitous break like that. See if Vanderbilt wants to go that route.
Look out here, another sack, 46 on the year for Cincinnati as J.K. Schaefer led the charge. Let's visit Robert Flores in the studio right now. Robert?
All right, Dave. Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl from San Francisco's AT&T Park, home of the Giants. UCLA scores first. Keith Price to Taylor Embry. And the Illini, who lost 6 consecutive games to close the regular season, are down early. Meantime, Hyundai Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Georgia Tech and Utah tied at 10, third quarter.
All right, Robert, thank you much. 7-7 here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Rogers, nice little snatch off the ground, or was it?
Well, he had his knee down when he caught the football, and then Boyd has to know better than that, but that's got to be a better throw from Rogers. This is not a difficult throw. He's got to stick it up on the numbers, lead his receiver. Here's Boyd. He's going to step up, come back. But here he is. You see that right there. You got to throw that a little bit more on your man. Give him a chance to make the catch and go down the field. But I wouldn't put that one on both of them. But I think Boyd needs to keep his leg up off the ground.
3rd and 15. Rogers 3 of 9 for 22 yards. Cincinnati front, Wolf in pursuit. Rogers will just take off. Takes a good shot. Clean hit by Drew Fry, but it's a gain of 9, and that's probably the best that Vanderbilt could hope for, all things considered. So there's a couple of reasons. Right now, that Cincinnati front line, Ray, appears to me to be winning the upfront battle.
They are, and they have no conscience when it comes to playing laterally up front, Dave. They are going up the field vertically, and when you have good linebackers, and they do with J.K. Schaefer and Bomar, you can afford to do that, and they get penetration in a hurry.
That's a good snap this time for Ken. He rolls the rugby punt and gets it down the field. Fair catch made by Milligan on the 13-yard line. So good job that time by Kent, who had a good snap at last and does his defense a favor, pinning Cincinnati inside the 15-yard line.
The amazing story of whether bovine heart tissue can make it from Australia to a U.S. lab to a patient in time for surgery may seem like a trumped-up Hollywood premise. But if you take away the dramatic score, take away the dizzying 360-degree camera move, and take away the over-the-top stunt, you're still left with a pretty remarkable tale. Okay, maybe keep the indulgent supermodel cameo. Thank you.
Innovative medical solutions. FedEx. Solutions that matter.
Everybody wants more financial control, but it's not always easy. At Regions, we have the tools and expertise to really help you find your balance. Like the freedom to access and monitor your accounts anytime, anywhere with online and mobile banking. Real guidance and solutions from a Regions personal savings and debt review. Plus, at Regions, you'll get the award-winning service people are talking about. It's financial control. Well, like you haven't had before. Wow. Unbelievable.
This is an RC robotic claw.
A high school science teacher made me what I am today.
Our science teacher helped us build it.
Now I'm a geologist at Chevron, and I get to help science teachers.
It has 4 servo motors and a wireless microcontroller.
Over the last 3 years, we've put nearly $100 million into American education. That's thousands of kids learning to love science.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool.
We tried to be like every band we possibly could until we became Maroon 5. It took us a long time. I mean, we're still working on it, trying to get the best sound that can possibly go out to our audiences. You know, that feeling where you just don't know how it happened, but it sounds incredible to you and the audience. It comes out super clean. It's never better than that. It doesn't ever get better than that.
ESPN's presentation of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the new Capital One Cash Card for the people who want 50% more cash.
That is the balcony at the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. And what's become of this now is the National Civil Rights Museum, an absolutely beautiful museum in Memphis. And coincidentally, playing today for Cincinnati is Ralph David Abernathy IV, who's a kick returner and receiver. And his great-grandfather was Ralph Abernathy, the legendary civil rights leader. Cincinnati's average starting position has been their own 18-yard line, and this isn't helping. They're at their own 13 following the Kent punt. And they go to Peed, and he gets a couple of yards, and that is it. Thrown down there by Chris Marv. What an interesting young man Chris Marv is.
Yeah, he really is. Here he is. You're going to just see him fill the hole right there. Yeah, he's got the running back on this particular play. Gets up in the hole. You know, he runs just like his uncle Eugene Marv, who played with me as a linebacker with the Buffalo Bills back in the day. I mean, just looking at him, it's uncanny to me. They move the same way.
He's got 4 tackles already. He had 84 on the season. This is Peed trying to get outside. Gets away from one. There's the vision and the cutback ability of Isaiah Peed. Man, that's a 13-yard gain and a Bearcat first down. Finally brought down by Archibald Barnes.
And the cutting ability you're going to see. Watching, he's lateral. His shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and yet when he puts that foot in the ground, he is able to get up the field in a big hurry.
That time he didn't get nearly as far as Fugger jumped on him after a gain of a couple. Second down and long here for Cincinnati. Still trying to get going. You mentioned one of your focus points was knock the rust off Zach Collaros, and I still see a few flakes.
Yeah, and he has not run the football yet. I'm waiting for that one, Dave. And then has he hit one of his receivers, his wide receivers yet?
No, the only 2 completions he has, he's 2 for 7 for a dozen yards, both to tight end Adrian Robinson. Hasn't even completed one to Peed, which is pretty much an important part of the offense. He'll try this time, and he gets it to a tight end, Travis Kelce. Kelce dragging a tackler, Eric Samuels, across for a first down. That's a gain of 11. So Collaros, I wonder, Ray, how much of this game plan drawn up by Butch Jones and offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian just trying to take some of the heat off Collaros?
Well, I think there's a lot of that. I think that has a lot to do with it. And in large part, they're not sure what they got there as his backup. And I'll get more into that after this play.
Take a shot down the field here, and it is knocked away. Defended by Trey Wilson. And he was stride for stride with DJ Wood. Second down and 10 coming up.
Right here is at the end of this play, you're going to see a great job of just getting up and timing this thing, and that's good defense by Wilson. But I was mentioning the quarterback situation, and Munchie Legault is the backup right now, and he started those games that Collaros wasn't able to play.
And this is Peed, man, across the midfield to the 47-yard line, gain of 14.
It's actually George Wynn again. He seems to be the most effective runner out here on the field. There is a flag down on this. But Munchie Legault came in, and he lost his first 2 starts and did not look very good doing it. Now, subsequently, he improved, but he's not ready.
Formation. Too many men on the backfield. On the offense, a 5-yard penalty. We play second down.
So that wipes out the win gain, and it'll be second down and even longer.
And there's Munchie Legault, number 4 there with the headset on. And, you know, he improved dramatically while he was in there, Dave, but I don't think he's quite ready to go out there and lead this offense the way they want it done. And so they're trying to conserve, I believe, Zach Collaros as much as possible, and therefore he hasn't run the ball yet.
They have Jordan Llewellyn also, who may see some time in the running back position, at the quarterback position, but primarily as a runner. Collaros, and that is incomplete. Unable to hang on to it was Wood. Rhodes, defended by Casey Hayward. I ask you the question I asked earlier of the coaching staff. When you have a Hayward who's such a tough corner, do you completely avoid him?
Completely no, but I would tend to work the other side of the field. Okay. I definitely would, because obviously this guy's the best defensive back out there for Vanderbilt. So I would definitely try to go the other way.
He has an interception that led to Vanderbilt's touchdown. Colaros screens it, misses Peed, and what a great tackle. Perfect form by Sean Richardson. That will be a loss of 3, and Vanderbilt will once again force Cincinnati to punt.
This is a great open field tackle here. Sean Richardson did it to a T. He closed fast, broke down at the end, and then shot the legs and wrapped hard. And that's how you play open field football.
And there you see an interesting stat. Almost as many punts as first downs in this one, as Pat O'Donnell has the wind at his back this time. Jonathan Krause around the 24-yard line of the Commodores, who awaits the kick. Catches on the line drive of the 23. Got one good block and gets it across to the 35, 36-yard line. Good return that time by Krause, who averaged just under 4 during the regular season. Can Jordan Rodgers get his pass game going? Get Zach Stacy going too.
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up. The Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
At a dry cleaner, we replaced people with a machine. Customers didn't like it. So why do banks do it?
Hello?
Hello? If your bank doesn't let you talk to a real person 24/7, you need an ally.
Hello?
Ally Bank. No nonsense, just people sense.
Tostitos, I heard you were a football star.
It's true. Check it out. So, championship game, I get the ball, I'm in the clear, and that's when I heard the pop. Ugh. Blew out my bag.
You could have gone pro.
I'd never play another down.
Aw, Tostitos.
Hey, listen, it's okay. Look, I partied my way through school, I got an education, and I still got the Fiesta Bowl named after me.
What's that?
That's my touchdown dance, sweetheart. Boom.
Touchdown! You're a funny bag.
I'm a party bag, dude.
I'm a streaker. I'm 300 pounds, painted blue, and apart from the cleats, I'm completely naked.
Go State!
Oops. And if you've got 15-minute insurance, they might not pay for this. So get Allstate. You can save cash and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Shop less, get more. Make one call to an Allstate agent.
The 2012 Rose Bowl game. Monday on ESPN.
The legendary Sun Records. Elvis Presley on that sign right there. Johnny Cash, they were all there in the old days. Happy holidays from all of us here. Dave Lamont, Ray Bentley, Quinn Kesnick, Cincinnati and Vanderbilt in the AutoZone at Liberty Bowl.
Memphis train.
Yes, sir. Riding that Memphis train. Actually, ironically, there's a train that goes by near the stadium here. So Jordan Rodgers, now we've talked a little bit about Colaros. Rodgers is not having a great day throwing the ball either, Ray. 3 of 9 for 22 yards. What's missing?
Well, the timing, I think. You know, game speed is almost impossible to replicate in practices, and a lot of times you see that in these bowl games early on. Offenses struggle with timing.
On the offense, number 69, a 5-yard penalty, first down.
And there's a good example right there. Even timing on getting a snap off cleanly, so it's first down and 15.
You know, all it takes is a little adjustment, and sometimes, David, just all of a sudden clicks in, and who knows, before this thing's over, we could have ourselves a track meet. although both defenses are pretty good.
This game traditionally comes down to the last possession. I think it's 7 years in a row. This game has come down to somebody taking a shot at the end that either wins it or almost wins it. Rodgers designed a run here. Cincinnati has some speed, and he took a shot that time by Cameron Cheatham. We'll take a quick shot to the studio and Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Dave, check out what happened in El Paso at the Hyundai Sun Bowl. Game tied at 10 before Georgia Tech explodes. Devin Washington to Stephen Hill, 17-10. And then ensuing possession for Utah. John Hayes, terrible pass, intercepted by Clayshawn Neely. He returns it 75 yards. Yellow Jackets on top, 24-10, late third quarter in El Paso. Dave.
All right, thank you, Robert. Second down and 14 here in Memphis. More whistles and another false start against Vanderbilt.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 67, a 5-yard penalty, second down.
That was Wesley Johnson, the center, and you don't see that very often. The big guy just had a little hitch in his get along there before he snapped the football, and when your center doesn't know the snap count, that's not going to work out too well for you.
And you saw the numbers there. Vanderbilt got their touchdown set up by an interception and only had to go 22 yards. Cincinnati is a one-play touchdown drive of 69 yards by George Wynn on a carry. Otherwise, they may not be on the board either. Rodgers looked a little off balance, but able to get the pass complete to Barton at the 30-yard line. That'll be a 4-yard pickup. Bomar and Schaefer in there again for the Bearcats. So it's going to be third down. And it looks like about 15 here, I'd say.
And one of the problems for both of these offenses is lack of production on first down. And then now all of a sudden you're behind the chains, and then you throw a little penalty in here and there. Next thing you know, you're facing a 3rd and 15, and those are hard to convert.
Vanderbilt off on third downs, 35% during the year, 25% today. Trying to get it to Chris Boyd. Good defense by Cameron Cheatham, the junior from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And Vanderbilt will once again have to punt.
When Rodgers makes some dangerous throws, and that's something I believe he'll get better at, but he will throw it right into traffic. I mean, Cheatham had a better chance at that ball than Boyd did. As you see Boyd limping off the field a little bit. And so far, Rodgers 0 for 3 on deep shots down the field. That's a big part of what they like to do.
They were number 1 in the SEC in explosive plays. They had 7. Look out here, another bad snap. Kent in trouble.
He's got a first down if he can run.
And the answer is he can, and he is quick low, and that's out of bounds. That was Isaiah Peed that shoved him out of bounds, and is there a flag?
There should be. That should be 15 more.
Wow, I can't believe that there is not a flag for that.
And look at Franklin right there. He's upset.
And he's trying to control his players who are also upset. And that's a nice job by him to recognize that he's got players who are spilling out on the field. That was a 17-yard gain when they needed 15. And Richard Kent,
he's gassed.
Boy, he better get one of those little stickers on the back of his helmet for that one.
Well, you know what? It was a bad snap again. And so he really just took it on his own, and Cincinnati did a horrible job of maintaining leverage on that side. And Isaiah Peed, you see him dancing around, but I wouldn't get too excited. They just converted a 4th and 15 on you.
No, you may have seen Franklin's lips. He told the official, I just watched the replay, and it certainly appeared to all of us that Peed hit him late out of bounds. We'll look at it again in a moment. Rodgers, is he looking deep down the field? He is, and that pass contested out of bounds. And you see the official's cap there? That meant that a player was out of bounds. Jonathan Krause was the intended receiver. Ray, take us through this hit here by Isaiah Peed.
Well, you're going to see the punter, Richard Kent. He's working to get to the sticks right there. And you know what? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to say that was a good hit. The contact was initiated in bounds.
And I think you're right. We didn't see that initially, but thanks to our cameramen and our replay guys, we did see that he had 1 foot.
Yep, that's just a great play by Isaiah Peed coming up and P-roll and a punt.
Yep, second down and 10. That's why there was no flag. The officials were correct. And Rodgers, after the good fake to Stacy, and he takes a couple of shots. Once again, Drew Fry in there, but that's going to be a nice 8-yard pickup. Sets up third down and 2.
I got to think we're going to see more of that from each side as this goes on, David. We haven't seen too many quarterback runs out of the zone read type of looks. And what they're doing is conditioning the defense, making them fall asleep. Now the quarterback's not going to keep it. He's not going to keep it. And then when he does, usually a good play.
Is this 2-down territory if they don't make it? And they don't make it now. 4th and 2.
Punt the football.
Okay. Are you sure that's a safe bet?
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
If I'm James Franklin, I'm punting this football. I'm playing good defense right now. Nothing like getting the field position battle. Plus, you look at the clock, and it's starting to wind down. I'd let this thing wind all the way down, take my time out, and punt it.
Well, they're not punting. There's Richard Kent, who has the best rushing average on the team today. Vanderbilt this season, 14 of 18 on 4th down.
Maybe just trying to draw him off here. We'll see, no?
Stacy jump pass, and it's incomplete.
Gutsy play. Gutsy play, I'll give you that.
Well, they tried to get it to Brandon Barden. It looked great. It just didn't work.
Barden's route was wrong. He's got to run away from where that linebacker is. He got in too close, and the pass wasn't there. It was open, and Coach Franklin back to the drawing board, play some defense.
Capital One's new cash rewards card gives you a 50% annual bonus, so you earn 50% more cash. If you're not satisfied with 50% more cash, send it back. I'll be right here waiting for it. Who wouldn't want more cash? I'll take it. I'll make it rain up in here.
The new Capital One Cash Rewards Card. The card for people who want 50% more cash.
What's in your wallet? Sorry, I'll clean this up. Shouldn't have made it rain.
Let's see if we can get one past the defense.
Hut, go! Here it comes. Spray the numbers. Boom. Get it. Spin. Oh, nice hands.
Jeff, oh, good job, man. Nice. Okay, halftime. Now this is my favorite play. Oh, I'm wide open. And won't fumble. Don't want to fumble any of these.
Share what you love with who you love. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Is up. And it's good.
Good. They're great.
Introducing the official training bike of the Tour de France, the Proform TDF, the first ever indoor training bike that delivers a 20% incline and a 20% decline. Powered by Google Maps, you choose the road and the TDF follows it. The Proform TDF automatically adjusts resistance, plus with a built-in power meter, you'll know your exact output. Order right now and get $0 down and a free upgrade on rush shipping.
When do you take 5-Hour Energy?
When I'm on the night shift.
And they have more energy than I do.
When I don't feel like working out.
When there isn't enough of me to go around.
When I have school. And work.
Every morning. It's faster and easier than coffee.
Every afternoon. When that 2:30 feeling hits. Every day.
Every day. Every day is a 5-Hour Energy day.
5-Hour Energy. Every day.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, Texas A&M finally finds a way to finish against Northwestern. We'll check in on Illinois and UCLA, both teams with interim coaches. Mark May and Lou Holtz will join me to look ahead to tonight's Chick-fil-A Bowl between Virginia and Auburn. It's all coming up at halftime.
Well, that is a lot to look forward to. Thank you, Reese. Appreciate that. This is the best starting field position for Cincinnati by far today. This is the closest they've been to midfield other than a play that was in progress, a 69-yard run by George Wynn. And now they've run a little trick play of their own with Collaros as one of the lead blockers, Anthony McClung. The first time we've called his name, I think, since the very beginning of the show. On the carry for 4, sets up second down and 6.
And they just haven't found a way to get their wide receivers into the ballgame. They tried to do that with the little reverse pitch to McClung. And now they got an empty backfield. They're going to throw this one.
And Collaros As they go to Pede in the tunnel screen. Pede, oh my goodness, what a move. And Pede is still going before he's finally brought down by Kenny Ladler. That's a gain of 11 and a Cincinnati first down. And the Bearcats under 2 minutes, and they have all their timeouts.
Boy, they get a great block from their guard right there. Bam, you see that number 72 coming out on the edge. Evan Davis, the center. The timing on that little tunnel screen was outstanding.
Pede right up the middle. Pede just short of the first down. He fell about 1 yard short, brought down by Chris Marv. So second down and about a yard, Cincinnati.
This is where having a veteran quarterback like Zach Collaros really helps you in a hurry-up situation towards the end of a half.
And there was an example there, Ray, as Pete gets the first down of a kind of play where Collaros might have kept the football and taken off, and they're just not running that today.
No, he's not even reading it, in my opinion. He's just handing that thing off. I believe he's under instructions to just hand that ball off for right now.
Collaros coming back after a very serious ankle injury. George Wynn is now in the tailback position. He was injured November the 12th. Didn't play any of the remaining regular season games and rehabbed furiously to get back just for his last college game. Collaros, that time on the roll, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Alex Chisholm. Still, the wide receivers in Collaros just not even on the same bus right now. Second down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if the ankle is bothering him or what, but that's a throw that I've seen Zach Collaros make many a time. You know, nice comeback route on the outside. He's on the move. He usually throws well on the move. I got to believe that ankle is affecting him a little bit. That's with the accuracy of his throws thus far. That right ankle, the one he pushes off of.
Under 10 to get the play off, and it appears that it's being changed.
You got press coverage. You might want to go over the top.
And you go to Pede. How about this? This play works. Pretty much giving it to him is never a bad idea. Gain of 11, another first down. Sean Richardson on the stop. Now we'll see if Cincinnati, or they will, how they use their timeouts, I should say, in the final 42 seconds of this half. Coming up on ESPN3, this will be a treat. KC and the Sunshine Band. And there's Collaros keeping it. Yeah, he took a hard left turn as soon as he saw Hayward. Gets it down to the 17-yard line. Second and 7 is next.
He did get out of bounds, but tell me if you think that kid's 100% running the football. Actually, you know what? Didn't look as bad on the replay. I don't know that he has that fifth gear, that extra explosiveness that I've seen out of him, but he's not limping.
Some late substitutions by Cincinnati, and we have the officials stepping in here.
He's still got plenty of time as the play clock now just gets to 10.
That's Woods in motion. Collaros toward the end zone. Oh, my, that could have been a touchdown for Alex Chisholm. It'll be 3rd and 7 instead.
Yeah, that's just a horrible
personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 97. After visit to the goal, automatic first down.
Jared Morse with a late hit on Collaros.
Alex Chisholm has to make this catch, obviously, but this is a really nice throw. And you see Collaros, he gets hit late, and particularly late, and he just can't do that. But, man, Chisholm, a true freshman, he'll have nightmares about that one. I'll tell you what, even when he graduates, he's going to remember that. Oh, remember that one I dropped in the Liberty Bowl touchdown? That's the one that will haunt a guy for a long time.
Now we have the officials stopping play with 24 seconds to go. Cincinnati still has their timeouts, and now they're going to have a conference, and this might be a timing issue also.
No, and you look back on it, Dave, and this isn't a second guess because I said
on the penalty is correct. First down.
I said they should have punted the football.
Right.
And what they do, they gave Cincinnati the ball at their own 45, 55 yards away from a touchdown with a couple minutes left in the half. And that's what happens when you roll the dice and you don't win. Bad things happen.
Yeah, we know that. Collaros changing the play again. This is the first real drive Cincinnati has had in this game. Under a lot of pressure, lobbing it to the end zone to the back. The catch is made but out of bounds by Anthony McClung. And now now, 18 seconds to go. Eric Samuels defending.
Still, that's a whale of a pass, I think, by Collaros. And it looks like him running the football, in my mind, lets him know, hey, I'm okay. And maybe that's what he needed, just a chance to run the football and get his mind back, and that knocks the rust off a little bit. We'll see, because he should have a touchdown pass by all rights on this drive, as Chisholm just dropped that one.
Only 8 touchdowns in the last 19 red zone trips for Cincinnati. Collaros to the end zone. Got his man. Touchdown, Cincinnati. It's McClung.
What you get is a double move by Anthony McClung. And there's no reason. Here he is right here. He's going to watch, tap his feet, and then go beyond. There's no reason to bite on a double move. The end zone is behind you. Let him catch it in front of you. Don't bite on that double move there, and they got him to, and a nice throw, good patience by Collaros, and an excellent route by McClung.
So the fourth down failure by Vanderbilt leads to Cincinnati's only drive of the game so far. Started at the own 44-yard line, 9 plays, 56 yards in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And they still have their timeouts. They never ended up using any of them.
Pretty good drive.
Yeah, it really was. The best that they have had all game. America's #1 New Year's resolution: get revenge. ABC's Revenge is being called the juiciest drama to arrive in years. And this Wednesday, the bombshells are bigger than ever. It's never too late to get your revenge. ABC's Revenge, all new Wednesday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central on ABC.
A dish best cold served cold, excuse me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't know anything about that.
No, not you. You never did any of that when you played.
That was different, man.
That's true.
That was business.
Different kind of justice in those deals. I understand.
But how about this Bearcat football team? Seem to have waking up now. Look at that. And go back to it again. The gamble by James Franklin. And going for it on that fourth down. Put Cincinnati in great field position. And boy, did they take advantage of it. So the Cincinnati special teams, Eric Samuels had the return to the 25-yard line with 3 seconds to go. It's expect a knee here from Jordan Rogers. Yeah, absolutely. There's no sense in doing anything. 4 seconds left, a long ways away from pay dirt. Just take your knee and you go into halftime and you make your adjustments.
Think about a lack of drives. I mentioned Cincinnati. Don't forget Vanderbilt's touchdown drive was only 22 yards because of the Hayward interception. So they, too, have been unable to sustain up and down the field. They'll take that knee, and Cincinnati will take the halftime lead. James Franklin with a quick word with one of the officials about something that's been bugging him for a little while. And the Bearcats smiling, and why not? As they're seeking their 10th win, the Co-Big East champions. And let's check in with Quint Kesnick, who's got Butch Jones.
Coach, after struggling to move the ball that whole first half, that last drive, all of a sudden you have success. What happened?
Well, we're able to establish the run, and that's the big thing. For us to be an effective offense, we have to be balanced, and we're starting to establish the run. We were behind the whole first half in the field position game. I thought our defense did an exceptional job of getting off the football field.
How do you best characterize the play of Zach Collaros?
Gutty, best story in all of college football in this bowl season.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. At the half, our score is Cincinnati 14 and Vanderbilt 7. We'll be back with the H&R Block halftime report after these messages.
For 53 years, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl has been a fixture in the landscape of college football and has a rich history of great teams and great players, including Heisman Trophy winners Terry Baker, Ernie Davis, Doug Flutie, and Bo Jackson. In addition to creating lasting memories, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl has featured many of the greatest leaders in college football. Among them, Bear Bryant, Tom Osborne, Steve Spurrier, and Urban Meyer. In the 1973 AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Coach Lou Holtz led his team to victory. This year, we are honored to present Coach Holtz with the Bulls Distinguished Citizen Award in recognition of his outstanding leadership.
People can name the head coach, they can name the CEO because titles come from above. What nobody can do is give you the title being a leader. Now, if you're going to be a leader, you have to have a vision where you're going to go. You have to have a plan of how you're going to get there.
Memphis has an impressive history of those who lead by example. It's the home of visionary entrepreneurs who founded a number of great American companies, including AutoZone. Today, Memphis is America's premier aerotropolis and our country's busiest cargo airport, which is anchored by FedEx, another hometown company founded right here in Memphis.
Just 3 years after the AutoZone Liberty Bowl began, another great leader, entertainer Danny Thomas, arrived in Memphis and opened the doors of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Whether it's a player or coach of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, or a man such as Danny Thomas with a dream that no child should die in the dawn of life, greatness can be achieved with a vision, a game plan, and a selfless devotion to a great cause.
At AutoZone, our more than 60,000 employees are dedicated to helping our customers every day. In addition, we seek to lead in the communities we serve. That's why we're so proud to sponsor the AutoZone Liberty Bowl and support another of Memphis's cherished institutions, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude treats the world's sickest children battling cancer and other deadly diseases for free. No family ever pays St. Jude for anything, not care, transportation, food, or housing.
On behalf of the kids of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and children everywhere, I would like to thank our wonderful friends at AutoZone and their generous customers for donating $2.1 million to St. Jude this year. In 2012, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital will celebrate 50 years of research breakthroughs and unrivaled patient care. Our doctors and researchers have made great strides over the past 5 decades, but there's more work to be done.
Whether it's on the field or in the community, the hope and motivation that comes from great leaders can truly make a difference.
Thank you, AutoZone. Thank you, AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Some of the wonderful work done in many of the bowls across the country. Certainly always a great scene at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in Memphis, not only for the game, but at halftime as well, as we join part of the festivities and pageantry with KC and the Sunshine Band. In the hometown of Elvis Presley. KC's good. He's no Elvis. Still putting on a good show there. Second half not far away from Memphis.
Welcome to the Ultralight, where you never have to settle for less. With 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and one exceptionally smooth taste, Michelob Ultra is perfectly balanced for your life.
This is an RC robotic claw.
A high school science teacher made me what I am today.
Our science teacher helped us build it.
Now I'm a geologist at Chevron, and I get to help science teachers.
It has 4 servo motors and a wireless microcontroller.
Over the last 3 years, we've put nearly $100 million into American education. That's thousands of kids learning to love science.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool.
ABC Wednesday. It's a new-tastic, new-larious, newtiful night of all-new comedy. It'll never get better than that. We're coming back with all-new episodes of The Middle.
Is it okay if we go into my room?
I'd actually prefer it. Suburgatory.
Drive or die trying. Me.
Maybe that's bad advice.
Modern Family.
This is what I'm wearing for golfing tomorrow. Want to give you a heads up in case there's some overlap.
And Happy Endings.
Does it look like I'm having an emergency?
Sleeves on fire.
Damn it!
The Comedy New Year starts Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
A whole new Chrysler lineup makes for a big year, and 0% financing makes for a big finish. The year's best deals end January 3rd. Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus $1,750 bonus cash on 2011 Town & Country models.
To those who've received both the full-size room and 36-mile-per-gallon Highway of the La Crosse with e-Assist, enjoy. To those who sacrificed one for the other, there's still time. During the Buick Holiday event, sign and drive this 2012 La Crosse for $318 per month with nothing due at signing. Hurry, our best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
We take you behind the kitchen door Thursdays on Eyewitness News.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
And we welcome you back to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Cincinnati and Butch Jones in front here in Memphis, 14-7. The only real drive Cincinnati had off of a failed fourth down play puts the Bearcats in front 14-7. Quit Kesnick on the field. Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont. Again, an early Happy New Year. Hope you have a great and safe one tonight. And Ray, an interesting first half. We have had no third downs converted by the team that's ahead. Only 2 by Vanderbilt. It has been defense dominated.
It really has, and both quarterbacks have struggled, Dave. But we have had some highlights we got to take a look at. Oh, this the interception by Hayward, setting up the Commodores for their first and only score. And it's going to be Zach Stacy taking it in from the 5. Vanderbilt goes up 7-0. Then you got George Wynn in, and Isaiah Peed was out with a broken chin strap. So Wynn took advantage of his shot there, going 69 yards for the touchdown. Here it is, that fourth down, the jump pass from Stacy looking for his tight end. Did not convert. Put Cincinnati in great position. They drive down. McClung makes the touchdown catch. The only reception by a wide receiver for the Bearcats there in the first half.
And there's our quarterback stats today, brought to you by Dove Men Plus Care.
You see those, and it's, I'll tell you, not a good day thus far for either of these quarterbacks. I expect that they'll get a lot better here coming up in the second half.
And, of course, with Collaros, the -9 has had to do with sacks. In college football, if you weren't aware, the sacks count against your rushing totals. And Cincinnati's front line also, we got to mention that the Bearcat front line, and they'll be out on defense first as Vanderbilt will begin the half of the football. That front group has played extremely well.
And J.K. Schaefer, the linebacker, Bomar, too. Both those guys behind that defensive line making plays.
Final half of this AutoZone Liberty Bowl underway. Breezy day in Memphis, and hang on here. Football is loose, and it's recovered by Cincinnati at the 15-yard line.
And that's Woodard.
Yep, Orion Woodard, a receiver, senior from Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, able to fall on this ball that's mishandled by Eric Samuels.
Yeah, Samuels took his eyes off it because it bounced in front of him. He's looking downfield to see what kind of danger he's in, and he never puts it away. And then a hustling Woodard coming down the field comes up with the football, and a big play, a momentum swing changer here for the Bearcats if they can punch this in.
And Samuels is going to have to try to do something about it, get it back playing defense. Fake to Pete. Collaros in trouble. Throws it. And might have thrown that low, but what a catch.
I think he tried to throw it away. And Robinson said, no, you know what? I think I can reach that. And that 6'5" frame, he is able to go down and get it.
No gain. Maybe a foot. I thought the same thing. I thought he was just, I don't want anything to do with this. You know, and
just going to throw this one away. And Robinson said, no, I'll get it. I'll go get it.
They gave him a yard. 2nd and 9.
Isaiah Peed down at the bottom.
Pressure. Dropped. Peed had some room too. Vanderbilt brought a lot of people, and Collaros' face says it all right there.
Yeah, you know what? He tried to be too cute with his fake to the front side, and by the time he turned back, he wasn't set up to make a decent throw. And that's part of the rust that you have, is you see the sign going up. All those symbols mean something for the Bearcat offense.
Is that Kevin Youkilis up there in the upper right-hand corner? He's a Cincinnati alum.
Well, all those things have they're mnemonic devices to help you remember stuff.
What?
Because some guys have problems with that, dude.
What?
Exactly.
With 1 second left on the play clock, Collaros drops the ball, and he's going to have to eat it at the 24-yard line. So Cincinnati has such a promising opportunity at the 15, and they end up going back 9 yards. And Collaros has just dropped the ball. I can't think of any other way to describe it. So now they're going to have to trot out the field goal team and Tony Miliano.
Well, let's watch the coverage down the field. Freeze it right there, fellas. You got coverage here, up top, here as well. This guy's running into somebody there. There's nowhere to go with that football. Good job by the back end of the Vanderbilt defense.
Miliano 16 for 22. His longest is 48, but he kicks him low. He's had 3 blocked. Low snap. And that was not even close. You just imagine the folks who went to the hot dog or the brisket and their nacho line. They're not getting back to the seat. So what I missed first minute? They have nothing going on, right? Well, they missed a fumbled kickoff and a missed field goal. But we aren't going to miss an opportunity to visit with Quinn.
Guys, I spoke to Vandy coach James Franklin as he was coming out of the locker room. He's typically Mr. Positive. Well, he was pretty negative. I got to tell you, he said, we couldn't have played worse in the first half between the penalties, bad execution, missed assignments, missed gaps defensively. He says, but it's an all-new half. We weren't ourselves, and we hope to see ourselves in the second half. Injury note, keep your eye on wide receiver Chris Boyd, fighting a hamstring.
Thank you, Quinn. We saw him pull up in that second quarter, so we'll watch for number 80. Meantime, Rogers going toward the far sideline and being ridden out of bounds by Cameron Cheatham with Jordan Matthews, and that sends a wave of flags toward that sideline.
And Cheatham's he's got to get his head around and find the football. If he does that, he probably intercepts this thing.
Pass interference on the defense, number 21. A 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now, go back to what Quint said to James, whether James Franklin said to Quint. Do you agree with it?
Absolutely, I do. But neither team played very well in the first half. But you see Cheatham right there, and there's no doubt that's pass interference. But really, there's no need for it. He had the receiver pinned to the sideline. He had great position. Get your head around, find the football. He could have picked that thing off very easily.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was any way Matthews could have caught that ball in bounds anyhow. So the ball's at the 39-yard line for Vanderbilt. And you see what they have done on first down. Pretty predictable. That's why they tossed it up on first down on this drive. Throwing again, but Rogers flushed out of there by Giordano, being chased. And on the run is almost intercepted. But the effort made there again. Cheatham was involved in the play, and it's going to be second and long.
Boy, this one had interception written all over it, and Jordan Rogers got lucky because he threw this ball at Cincinnati people. I mean, here he is. There's no real receiver there, and you see him take a hit at the end from Hughes, but right there you see his receiver stops, and he anticipates Kraus going deeper, and that's what you're supposed to do. If you're short, you go deep on a scramble. If you're deep, you come back to the quarterback. One very well executed.
Rogers almost fell down and killed the play as he was pitching it to Zach Stacy. And Stacy did a great job to get that out for about 5, almost 6 yards before he is gang tackled by the Bearcats. Drew Fry in there, number 26. At the bottom of the pile, Wesley Richardson.
Oh, and Stacy shows you the power that he has. Here's going to be the pitch, and you see Rogers gets his foot stepped on. He does a nice job of making the pitch regardless. But watch Stacy after contact. He keeps fighting. He keeps the feet running, keeps pushing, and he picks up another 3-4 yards after contact.
You see Stacy's numbers. He had 1,136 yards in the regular season and an average of over 6 yards a carry. One of the top backs in the SEC.
He also set a Vanderbilt record with that total.
And has over 2,000 career yards. And it's intercepted. Cincinnati comes away with it, and it's the guy who the pass interference interference penalty was on Cameron Cheatham, the junior from Kalamazoo.
Cheatham never even backpedals on this one. He's playing he's basically sitting there waiting for this type of play. He's got a cover two behind him. He knows he's got safety help over the top. Watch him. He's just going to squat on this route. He knows slants in the book. He steps right in front of Boyd, and just a bad decision by Jordan Rogers, and a great play by Cheatham to step in front of that and make the interception.
And Rogers now limping a little bit. You wonder the effects of that hit by Hughes. So Rogers not 100% at the moment, and neither of the Commodores, who have turned the ball over twice. We haven't played 3 minutes of the third quarter. But the Vandy defense, which was stiff on that sudden change on the kickoff, doesn't let Pete get anything as we visit on the field with Quint.
The moment that interception was thrown, Vandy coach James Franklin turned to backup quarterback Larry Smith. So put your helmet on, get warmed up. So Smith right now behind the Vandy bench. He could be their quarterback next series.
And he was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. Thank you, Quint. 2nd down and 10. Those 2 Vandy turnovers starting the half. Collaros hesitated, now gets rid of it to the tight end Robinson, and he took a shot, a big collision with Eric Samuels for a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
I like how Quint phrased that. He could be the quarterback when they come back. Sometimes that's just a guttural reaction from the coach. So you go to the next guy, get yourself ready, and because he's fed up with what he's seeing. But as he has time to marinate on the situation, he may well go back to Rogers. We'll see.
Well, Cincinnati hasn't hit a 3rd down yet, Ray. He may not have time to marinate. Collaros steps up in the pocket and is sacked. He had no chance that time. Chris Marv, the outstanding middle linebacker for Bob Shoop's defense, able to make the sack. A loss of 3. It'll be 4th down.
And Marv ends up just going out to the edge, and he becomes an edge rusher. Here he is. He's just going to work around the edge. He's going to keep coming. He's going to beat Isaiah Peed, just gets his hands on him, and Collaros doesn't have the mobility he normally does. I will tell you that right now. Most times in that situation, he's going to get himself out wide and get outside of that whole thing. Here, he just kind of got sucked up into the vacuum, into the vortex of the pocket.
And you got a good look at Jordan Rogers with his helmet off and limping as here comes the rush, and a good kick by O'Donnell to get this away, and it'll go to the end zone for a touchback. So, based on the pictures we've seen, it doesn't appear that Jordan Rogers will be out for the next series. In fact, he looks like he's headed for the dressing room. The team now belongs to Larry Smith.
It's the AutoZone Rewards Card, and it's free to every AutoZone customer. It's simple. The more you shop at AutoZone, the more rewards you earn. So get your free rewards card today. It's our way of saying we're proud to have you as a customer. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The American Garage, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. Whether it's your place or the pro's place, more of them count on the trusted advice at AutoZone than ever before. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone. It's a 403 horsepower, 6.2-liter V8. Nutcracker. The 2011 GMC Sierra. Now during the GMC holiday event, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $500 bonus cash on Sierra, plus 1 year of SiriusXM satellite radio, including every NFL game. Hurry, our best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
The old standby, the bare minimum, the game changer. Take it to the house with Taco Bell's Taco 12-pack. 12 classic crunchy tacos boxed up and ready for game day. Now at Taco Bell.
It's time for Texas A&M to change the game. Time to share our Aggie spirit with our new family as we grow together. It's time for Texas A&M.
Think of all the irreplaceable things on your computer. Now imagine you lost it all. It happens all the time. Hard drives crash, computers get lost, stolen, or hit by viruses. But with Carbonite, no matter what happens to your computer, your files are safe.
For just $59 a year, get unlimited online backup with Carbonite. That's peace of mind for just 16 cents a day. Go to CarboniteTV.com now to try it free for 15 days. No credit card required. And get 2 free months when you decide to buy. Start your free trial at CarboniteTV.com right now.
most addictive new show, ABC's Revenge, all new Wednesday, 10, 9 Central.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
James Franklin, in his first year at Vanderbilt, has a new quarterback in the game. As we welcome you back to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with Ray Bentley. I'm Dave Lamont. We're upstairs. Quint Kesnick is downstairs, and there is Larry Smith, the redshirt senior from Prattville, Alabama. He started the first 6 games of the season. Was a little bit beat up also, Ray, but there were also some performance issues.
Yeah, there really were. He just wasn't running the offense. They weren't being productive. He had his moments, and now in his final game as a Commodore, he gets a chance to come in and redeem himself.
High formation. I'll go Zach Stacy at the top. And they hand it off to their top rusher. And nice little spin move. He'll earn almost 6 yards before Malik Bomar brings him down. Let's check in with Quint.
Guys, there's no question after talking to James Franklin when he was coming out of the locker room that this quarterback change was something that was on his mind at halftime. He felt that they didn't get the right reads, that they didn't hit the check down man, that there were just a couple of execution and just fundamental mistakes from a mental side from the quarterback position. One of the reasons why he made the change.
Stacy again. And this time he runs right into Derek Wolf, the senior from Lisbon, Ohio. After a 1-yard pickup, here comes a big test for Larry Smith in the offense. 3rd down and about 3.
Well, certainly the Vanderbilt offense was not functioning at a very high level with Rodgers in there. I can't tell you specifically what the mistakes were as far as those reads, but obviously he was not performing at a high level because this offense, which usually moves pretty well, did not move at all.
UC, number 1 in the nation in tackles for a loss. Their defense has been stiff, giving up just a short touchdown drive in the first quarter. They run the jet sweep. Stacy in trouble. There's another tackle for a loss. Wolf slowed him down and tripped him up, and he had plenty of help.
Now, I got to tell you, Derek Wolf gets off the ball as well as anybody, and when he goes, he is a man. You know, he had a rough upbringing, and he didn't really trust adults or older people, and Butch Jones said it was a great feeling when he was named All-Big East. He came up and gave Coach Jones a hug, and it really showed a transformation in his attitude towards people.
Isaiah Peed will actually let a ball go, Ray.
That's a mistake.
Well, this one didn't work out very well, except for the punter, Richard Kent, who has been involved in the longest play from the scrimmage line today for Vanderbilt, 17 yards when he made up something. There it is, Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland.
Use an oil as durable as Quaker State, and there's no telling how many miles you'll go. But here's what'll happen when you get there. Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelly Blue Book trade-in value of your car. And you keep your car. No other motor oil has the molecules to make a commitment like this. Only Quaker State. Real, durable oil.
Sweet, nutty, crunchy nut. Can't wait till morning. Wait.
It's morning in the Himalayas.
It's sweet, it's nutty, it's absolutely delicious. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut. It's morning somewhere.
Sweet, nutty, crunchy nut. Oh, I can't wait till morning. Wait. It's morning in China.
It's sweet, it's nutty, it's absolutely delicious. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut. It's morning somewhere.
It's a 403 horsepower, 6.2-liter V8. Nutcracker. The 2011 GMC Sierra. Now during the GMC holiday event, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $500 bonus cash on Sierra, plus 1 year of SiriusXM satellite radio, including every NFL game. Hurry, our best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
ESPN's presentation of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Want an interesting place to spend New Year's Eve? Beale Street ought to be pretty busy tonight with fans of both of these teams. We've had great ticket sales from both sides, and a lot of the fans are sticking around town for the party. Should be fun. Of course, one set of fans is going to be a lot happier. Right now, it's the UC faithful, but once again, miserable Bearcat field position. Peed ran into his own man, but that was because of the effort by the Vanderbilt defense. The guy who busted that play up, Robert Lohr, and also Chase Garnham. Let's check into the studio and Robert Flores.
All right, Dave, after falling behind 14 points, Utah has scored 14 unanswered points against Georgia Tech. John Hayes to Devontae Christopher. It's tied at 24, 2 seconds left. Georgia Tech is about to line up for a game-winning field goal.
That ought to be a lot of fun. Bowl season has had plenty of twists and turns this year. And there could be one in this game. Peed on second down and a dozen. Got back the lost yardage on the Vanderbilt defense. And there's Chase Garnham in there again with another good play. He's had about 4 or 5 first-class plays. The sophomore from Fairhope, Alabama.
Yeah, he had a groin injury that really kind of held him out of some action early on, but he's been able to get healthy over the course of this month-long respite between games, and boy, is he playing well today, along with that entire Vanderbilt defense. I mean, Cincinnati's got, what, 2 yards in their last 3 possessions now?
Take a look at those third down conversions, too. And yet, they lead because of Vanderbilt mistakes. To try to make, he almost got loose. Now, there was an example to me, Ray, we've both seen Collaros when he's 100%, of a situation where I think he would have just taken off and tried to get the first down himself.
I agree with you, Dave. I just don't think he is near 100%. I mean, I'd put him at about 70 to 80 maybe, but he's not the same guy, and it's really affected him. But I still believe that they'll hang with him, whereas Vanderbilt has gone to Larry Smith now.
And to be fair to Collaros, it's very hard to criticize him considering the amount of rehab, the 10, 12-hour days he had, the mental loneliness of rehab, all of it, just to play one game. Well, that's a difficult kick for Cincinnati. Started to go backwards, knocked down, and Vanderbilt again has great field position. They'll have the football at around their own 45-yard line when we return to Memphis in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Side by side, 1, 2, 3. Count the birds in the big old tree. Side by side.
The inspiring story of how a shipping giant can befriend a forest may seem like the stuff of fairy tales.
You and me in the big old tree. Side by side.
But if you take away the faces on the trees, take away the pixie dust, take away the singing animals and the charming outfits, take away the sprites and the storybook narrator,
you're left with more electric trucks, more recycled shipping materials, and a growing number of low-emission planes, which still makes for a pretty enchanted tale. Oops. Forgot one.
Sustainable solutions. FedEx, solutions that matter.
To everyone who received the beautifully designed Buick LaCrosse during our holiday event, enjoy. To everyone who didn't, well, there's still time. During the Buick holiday event, sign and drive this 2012 Buick LaCrosse for $318 per month with nothing due at signing. Hurry. Best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
ABC's Modern Family. All new Wednesday, 9/8 Central.
Hi, this is Robert Flores at our college football studios. David Hayes from 48 yards away is wide right. And Georgia Tech and Utah headed to overtime at 24 in the Hyundai Sun Bowl. Georgia Tech looking for their 9th win. Utah 7-5. Pac-12 still looking for their first win of the bowl season. Dave and Ray.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. Here we are. Happy holidays to all of you. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Both these teams brought a lot of fans in from Cincinnati and from Nashville. Not a long trip for either fan base. And we've had a defensive struggle right now as Larry Smith back to pass, overthrows incomplete for Jordan Matthews. And if you're wondering, wait a minute, I thought Jordan Rogers was the quarterback. He has been replaced, a combination of just not playing very well, and also he limps toward the locker room, and we have not seen him come back yet.
And Larry Smith is a little bit different kind of quarterback. He can run the football in an explosive nature. And also, I think he doesn't quite have the accuracy as Jordan Rogers, but he can throw it a long way. So I would anticipate them taking a couple of deep shots with Smith in there.
Cincinnati showing blitz off the edge. They bring it. Smith in a little bit of trouble here, and he will throw it away, basically. It'll be 3rd down and 10. And now we do see that Rogers is back, and it looks like he's trying to decide whether he can play. Of course, it may not be his decision.
Yeah, it might not be about his health at this point. I'm sure that a lot of frustration built up there for Coach Franklin, and he pulled the switch more because of the fact Rogers was ineffective than the fact that he was injured.
So 3rd down and 10 for Vanderbilt. 3rd down conversions. No one has done well. Vanderbilt 2 of 12. Bearcats rush 4. Smith underneath. Opportunity here for a 1st down, and they will get it out to the 40-yard line. A 12-yard pickup for Tate. Wesley Tate, the redshirt sophomore from Henderson, Tennessee, and he is Golden Tate's younger brother.
And here he is right in the slot, and he's just going to come across and run it underneath. Everyone else clears out. They go deep down the field, and that brings that zone defense back, and then good blocking after the play, in particular by Jonathan Krause, to allow Tate to get that 1st down.
Smith, a couple of play-action fakes, and he goes forward. Wolf will bring him down. A gain of a couple as we get 2nd down and 8. And Wolf, to the relief of everybody rooting for Vanderbilt, is coming out of the game for a play or two.
Yeah, he's a special player, and I see him definitely playing on Sundays.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, he's going to go. I don't know that he's going to be a 1st or 2nd day selection. He's got that possibility. We'll see how he performs at the combine, but he will play.
This is Jordan Matthews trying to get to the marker, and he's going to be dragged down by J.K. Schaefer and friends. Chris Williams in at number 20. A little bit short, it appears to us. So it'll set up 3rd down, and yeah, it's a full yard to go.
Boy, Chris Boyd had a pancake block out on the corner that allowed Matthews to get that extra yardage.
And as Quentin reported earlier, Boyd's been fighting a hamstring problem in this game, but he did a nice job on that block right there. There he is checking out.
I'd love to see a naked bootleg here.
How about a handoff to Zach Stacy instead? Schaefer will drag him down with some help, but that's going to be an impressive run for Vanderbilt, almost to the 20-yard line. Wesley Richardson, considered the quarterback of this Cincinnati defense. Veteran secondary man in there on the stop with Schaefer.
Now watch Kyle Fisher, this big number 72, pull out and make a quick block. He's got to get his eyes up quick, and he sees the pressure. Bam, right there. He pins the contained man down to the ground. That allows Stacy to get off the edge.
So looking Vanderbilt drive that began at their own 48-yard line. Tasty treat being worked up by Vanderbilt as they get it inside the 10 to Jordan Matthews, a pickup of 15.
And Larry Smith is doing a whale of a job of running this offense right now. I mean, he stepped in and he's making good decisions. He's making the right reads, and he's getting rid of the ball quickly.
And the pace is different. They're running hurry up. This is the pitch out to Seymour. Seymour down toward the goal line and in.
teammate. He's going to applaud that. Just wants to win. But you're right, Dave, and that's something that this Vanderbilt offense did early in the year with Smith at quarterback. They ran the no-huddle, hurry-up type of tempo of offense, and that's what he's comfortable with, and they've gone to that in this drive, and it's been their most effective drive of the day.
8 plays, 52 yards, 224. It really is their only drive of the day when you think about it. I mean, they had a 22-yard drive, but that's hardly considered a drive. That led to the first touchdown following a Colaros interception.
There you go, just a toss, sweep, student body to the right, and he gets up in behind his center, Wesley Johnson, and Johnson never even has to block anyone. Watch 67, he's, where are they? He just goes into the end zone and riding on the coattail, Zach Stacy into the end zone. Excuse me, Jerron Seymour.
Yeah, that's his 5th touchdown run of the season. So interestingly, neither Stacy or Rogers figures in that touchdown, as it was a handoff from Smith to the pitch out to Seymour. So you got to think that there's not going to be a quarterback change whether Jordan Rogers says he's healthy or not. Not now, not after that.
And just a whole different tempo. And I think that woke up the rest of the offense a little bit. And then the fact that Smith has made good decisions, got the ball out of his hands quickly, it just worked out extremely well.
Now, what you see there, those 6 fingers, there you go. Well, you can't thumb a finger. We're not going to get into that debate. But that means 6 seconds. And that's the average length of a typical football play. And that's Vanderbilt's motto. While Cincinnati has quite a few of their own, that's the one that's on the T-shirts that the Vanderbilt players are wearing around Memphis and where they wore all season long. 6 seconds. Play hard for 6 seconds.
I thought that was your 40 time.
Are you kidding? Try 60.
That'd actually be a pretty good one for you.
With a water break. This is Abernathy. A little hole here for Abernathy. He puts on some speed and takes a shot in the hip at the 40-yard line, but for the Bearcats, unusually good field position. Well, it's on Cincinnati. They had a stretch of no adversity. In fact, if anything, everything was going against Vanderbilt, even losing their starting quarterback or making a change. Suddenly now it's on Zach Colaros' shoulders and ankle as to how the Bearcats respond.
And, you know, the best drive of the day for the Bearcats was when they went into the 2-minute drill, spread everything out, and it went fast. And I think there's something to that. And here they have now. They spread this thing out to an empty formation, and maybe that's what Coach Mike Bajaki and the offensive coordinator is going to go to.
Run the handoff to Isaiah Peed. There's that vision and cutback ability for Peed. He'll get it out to the 49. That's a 9-yard pickup. 2nd down and a yard before Hayward in there on the stop for Vandy. Butch Jones, he was a winner at Central Michigan, won a couple of MAC titles there, and now has a share of the Big East Championship with West Virginia, who's playing in the Discover Orange Bowl. And Peed, he can't escape? No. There was just too many obstacles. Samuels had the big hit there, number 22. That's a loss of 4, and now a 3rd and what the coaches like to call 3rd and medium. It's 3rd and 5.
Boy, Garham shot through there initially to get the penetration, and you see Isaiah Peed now ends up on the sideline with getting the attention of some trainers.
Well, he looks woozy there, if anything else. 0 for 8, the Bearcats on 3rd down. And we have a flag. So George Wynn steps into the backfield for Cincinnati.
That might not be a bad thing, the way Wynn has played in his limited chances.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12-men in the formation. A 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that's Isaiah Peed with a member of the training staff. Not sure what happened to him. We're going to try to take a look here. Oh, there you go. So that penalty, a major mistake for Vanderbilt because that gives Cincinnati a 1st down. And obviously Quint will be on that, and we'll try to get word to everybody as quickly as we can.
Franklin not a very happy camper right now. His defense just gives up a 1st down with a substitution infraction.
Right after a great defensive play, too. To win, and his rushing average will go from 69 to 35 with a 1-yard gain.
Let's take a look at Isaiah Peed and see where he got injured, and that's the hit initially by Garham and then the finish, and as he gets up from this thing, he jumps right up, but then he grabs the left hamstring. And those things are tricky, and if it is a hamstring pull, he more than likely will be done.
Collaros has not been a factor in the run game today that he normally is because of that ankle injury. 9 of 19 today, 51 yards, and he's in a bit of trouble now. Will he keep it? Yes, he chooses to keep it. Made a pretty good little move there. Was able to get out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 6, and they needed that. It'll be 3rd and short.
I'm telling you, he looked 100% on that run. Yep. There was no wiggle in that ankle.
How much of that do you think, Ray, is a mental issue of getting past the hurdle in a game?
I think there's some of that to it, but I also believe as the game wears on, that thing will loosen up for you a little bit. And, he said he was close to 100%. I got to believe him, and I would think the coaches should take that into consideration and run with the football a little bit more. I mean, this is the kid's last game. Let him go out swinging.
It's a first down with George Wynn, the junior from Southfield, Michigan. Let's go over to the studio and Robert Flores after the first down. Robert?
Dave, just seconds ago, Hyundai Sun Bowl comes to an end. Utah running back John White the 4th. And the Utes win their game in overtime, 30-27.
Robert, thank you very much. As Tim Fugger stops Wynn there for a loss of a yard. After Cincinnati, that first down they converted, we're not counting the penalty in the stats. That is, well, I don't know. He just got an awful mohawk haircut. That young lady may want to retract that sign. That was the first Cincinnati 3rd down conversion today.
I don't think you marry people for their haircuts, David. Come on. You ended up getting married, didn't you?
Yeah, but look at the hair now. Come on.
That's true. You do have it going on.
Yeah, I really do.
Here comes an all-out blitz.
Blocked well. Collaros lobs it out. Catch is no. McClung, the ball hit the turf. Let's see where the ruling on the field is. Yeah, the officials are there, and it's going to be incomplete. That was so close. Eddie Foster defending that one is 3rd down and 11.
Collaros underthrew this ball a little bit, and you see McClung times it up nice, goes up top, but when he comes down, he just is not able to keep the football. Boy, that was very close to being pass interference as Foster got there just an instant before the ball did. He's fortunate he didn't get the flag.
Well, he's in that dime position with Stephen Clark out. Remember the hit on the kick return? He is out with a broken sternum. Oh, man. Collaros has room to run. He'll throw instead, and it is caught by Kelsey. Wow! Kenny Ladler tried to pick that off, number 1, the safety, and instead, the big junior from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, gets 13, and a UC first down with 20 seconds to go in our quarter.
That one's all about Collaros, him keeping the play alive, extending it with his feet, keeping his eyes down the field, coming up with a clutch throw.
Pete still not available. Wynn will likely end the quarter straight ahead for maybe about a half a yard. We expected a competitive game between two programs that are very motivated to win this, and we have just that. A good-looking fourth quarter as the Bearcats stampede down the field. Everybody runs for UC when it's fourth quarter time.
Just letting you know they're going to be there for that fourth quarter. That's something Butch Jones instituted with this football team.
It's the day that I have always dreamed of forever. When you call me the champ of the world.
To those who've received both the full-size room and 36-mile-per-gallon highway of the La Crosse with e-assist, enjoy. To those who sacrificed one for the other, there's still time. During the Buick Holiday event, sign and drive this 2012 La Crosse for $318 per month with nothing due at signing. Hurry, our best offer of the year ends January 3rd.
breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
Like so many great pioneers before me, guided only by a dream, I'm embarking on a journey of epic proportion. I will travel from sea to shining sea, through amber waves of grey, and I won't stop until I've helped every driver in America save hundreds on car insurance. Well, I'm at the parking lot. That's a good start.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hear that?
It's that time of year again. Time to get a holiday deal on a Ram truck. A truck that'll pretty much haul anything. Most families bring the tree to the house. Ram families bring the house to the tree.
Get 0% APR for 72 months or $57.50 total cash allowance on 2011 Ram 1500 Crew Cabs. The year's best deals end January 3rd.
The Suzuki Winter Wonder Car event is here. Get great deals on all Suzuki models, including the award-winning Kazashi, the sporty SX4, and our amazing Grand Vitara. Every Suzuki is available with Suzuki's legendary all-wheel drive and America's #1 warranty. And now with special 0% financing on all models, your winter is sure to be more wonderful than ever. The Suzuki Winter Wonder Car event. It's going on now at your Suzuki dealer.
West Virginia Wildlife, Wednesdays on Eyewitness News.
You all know that guitar, don't you?
Big Bay.
That's the King and his lady friend Lucille bringing us into the fourth quarter in the home of the Blues, Memphis, Tennessee. Beautiful day here. You know what? We got more football Monday. The latest chapter of one of college football's great traditions. 2 high-octane conference champions meet in Pasadena. Monty Ball, number 10, Wisconsin, and LaMichael James, number 5, Oregon. It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio, Monday on ESPN, ESPN Radio, and ESPN3, streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. 4:30 Eastern coverage begins. We start the fourth quarter with the 10th play of this Cincinnati drive. Look out. 3rd and 10. George Wynn got hit by Casey Hayward. And Cincinnati thin at running back already. With Isaiah Pete out, let's see if Wynn is able to stay in.
Hayward's playing a cover 2 there, so he's got the flat. He sits in the flat, and then he times this thing up, and that's a vicious blow right there, and right in the breadbasket of George Wynn. And,
clean, though.
Yeah, Collaros, he's going to hear about that one from his buddy George Wynn, saying, hey, man, you want to think about hanging me out to dry a little bit better next time.
Jamel Poteet, number 22, is now in at running back for Cincinnati, so their top 2 backs are out of the game, and the Bearcats want a timeout. Remember, Isaiah Pede limped toward the locker room. And then you just saw what happened to George Wynn. Let's see if we can get some more on that. Here's Quinn Kesnick.
Well, Isaiah Pede actually just burst out of the locker room talking to their doctor, Dr. Angelo Colosimo. He said they rewrapped both hamstrings, little fluids, intravenous fluids. Looked like it appeared to be a cramp to the left hamstring. But Pede is back in the way. He burst out of the locker room. Looks like he's ready to go.
And that may have been the reason for the timeout.
That, and they were late getting one of the receivers out there, and that's had a little confusion on a 3rd down situation. And you just want to make sure. I mean, this is a critical drive. I know there's pretty much the entire fourth quarter left to play, but Cincinnati's right on the cusp of scoring position here.
George Wynn wins the Guy Award for me for just being walking after that hit he took.
The Guy Award. They got the Guy Club with Butch Jones and his football team, and it's just guys being guys, and they kind of, it's a nice running joke, but they use it a lot. teasing each other.
Collaros down the field toward the end zone. Is it good? No. The official rules it out of bounds. Alex Chisholm caught it, but not in bounds.
That's close, man. It just depends on if he came up with the football, because it looked to me like he got the foot in as he's making this grab. Let's take another look at it, see if we can see here. Yeah, I think that toe hit the ground. But yeah, he never ended up with the football.
That's the problem. You're right about the toe. I agree
right
completely.
There, bam, that toe's in, but he just didn't finish with the football. You see that ball out? It's actually ended up in the hands of the Vanderbilt defender over there.
And this is going to get a little bit longer look from our replay booth. Understandably, I think if this is what replay was made for, this is a critical play in this early part of the fourth quarter. Take one more look at it, and we'll have the result for you when we return. Is this a touchdown for Cincinnati? The ruling on the field is incomplete.
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up. The Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
There it was, right there.
Chills down your spine.
This thing was big.
Is Bigfoot out there? This expert team of true believers fans out across America.
Sasquatches do exist.
And uncovers evidence.
These are the best prints I've seen in my life.
Of this elusive legend.
Was that you?
I do think there's a Squatch in these woods.
Finding Bigfoot. New season. Check your local listings. Only on Animal Planet.
There was a little bit of trepidation. Not quite knowing what the next phase was going to be, because you've been, this is what you've been doing. Working. And now you're talking about, well, I won't be. And, you start thinking about what's really important here. My grandson calls me Grandpa. My littlest one, my great-grand, now she calls me Papa. I just fall apart at the seams behind that kind of stuff. That's what makes me. It gives me a reason to be here. It's my world. That's my world.
This is what I had to do to get a job. Okay, my eyes are up here. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Help me.
ABC's Work It. Series premiere Tuesday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass. Fourth down.
So that made James Franklin very happy at the top of your screen that they got the call right.
Absolutely. You see the foot's in bounds, but unfortunately for Cincinnati, Chisholm is not able to come down with the football. In fact, Ladler, the defender, ended up with the football, but he didn't get it till he was out of bounds. So incomplete pass, forcing this field goal try by Cincinnati.
Tony Miliano is 0 for 1 today, missed from 41 wide right. Now he's lining up from 44 as the wind at his back. We've had a brisk breeze all afternoon into the evening hours.
He kicks a low ball. He had 3 blocked already this year.
Got that one up. And good. So the 17th field goal made by Miliano, and Cincinnati retakes the lead by 3.
A clutch kick by Tony Miliano. His long of the season prior to this one, Dave, was just, 48 yards, so it's well within his range, but you saw it come out low.
Yeah, his trajectory, he's been criticized for that, but he was able, that time Vanderbilt really didn't get any penetration either, so that had a lot to do with it. Well, Monday, it's a top 5 duel between two of the game's most feared offensive weapons as Andrew Luck and number 4 Stanford take on Justin Blackman and number 3 Oklahoma State in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl Monday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN 3, and streaming live on WatchESPN.com and our Watch ESPN app. Well, we mentioned Cincinnati, or Vanderbilt, I should say, in the first quarter lately has been very tough, giving up just 7 points over 4 games. Well, Cincinnati, over their last 3, has just given up only 7 fourth-quarter points.
However, the last time Vanderbilt had the football, they moved it smartly down the field with Larry Smith in at quarterback, replacing Jordan Rogers.
You've got Hal and Tate back deep. This will drive Hal 3 yards deep, and he'll go for it. He has 1 touchdown return this year versus Georgia. He won't get one here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Let's take a look at our Chevron Drive recap, Ray, the last time the Bearcats had the ball.
Yeah, and this was just a nice, running of the operation by Larry Smith. Didn't do anything spectacular, but he made good decisions with the football. Got it out of his hands when he needed to. They had some good blocking up front. Zach Stacy running around, and then it's finished off. Seymour getting into the end zone, and that had tied it up. But now, Cincinnati, with that field goal, has a 3-point edge.
That was obviously Vanderbilt's last drive that Ray referred to. So from the 24-yard line, let's see what they do. And Larry Smith on a design run gets almost 10 yards. He's going to get 8 and tripped up there by Devin Drain. It'll be 2nd down and 2. So Jordan Rogers started the game, and there you see what Vanderbilt did for him and how much better it looks right now for Smith. Catch made by Chris Boyd, getting some great blocking from Tate. Look at this. That sets him up to go down the sideline. It's a race, and it'll be won by Boyd. The hamstring bothering him, but he'll get into the end zone.
He gutted that thing out. You could see him taking on a little water at the end there, but he is able to gut it out and with a bad hamstring finish that play. And what a throw there by Larry Smith. You say, well, it's just a little outside bubble screen throw, but he threw it, and doing so allowing Boyd's momentum to continue up the field.
And how about the block of Wesley Tate? That opened up the sideline and allowed Boyd to work his way down there.
What a quick answer.
2 plays, 76 yards, and Vanderbilt in charge. They had a 7-0 lead early. This is their first lead since the first quarter. Jordan Rogers benched, but he's still happy for his teammates. Nobody happier than Larry Smith. Nobody unhappier than Butch Jones in Cincinnati.
It's the AutoZone Rewards Card, and it's free to every AutoZone customer. It's simple. The more you shop at AutoZone, the more rewards you earn. So get your free rewards card today. It's our way of saying we're proud to have you as a customer. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The American Garage, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. Whether it's your place or the pro's place, more of them count on the trusted advice at AutoZone than ever before. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Are we doing okay here?
Absolutely.
And what can I get for you? I'll have one of those.
Capital One's new cash rewards card gives you a 50% annual bonus, so you earn 50% more cash. According to research, everybody likes more cash. Well, almost everybody. Would you like 50% more cash? No. But it's more money.
The new Capital One Cash Rewards Card. The card for people who want 50% more cash.
What's in your wallet? Whoa!
This is an RC robotic claw.
A high school science teacher made me what I am today.
Our science teacher helped us build it.
Now
I'm a geologist at Chevron, and I get to help science teachers.
It has 4 servo motors and a wireless microcontroller.
Over the last 3 years, we've put nearly $100 million into American education. That's thousands of kids learning to love science.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool.
ESPN's presentation of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Well, there you go. That's the Gibson Guitar Factory. You got some beauties there. I'll probably find a Les Paul model if you'd like. Some of the greatest guitar players ever have picked up a Gibson. We have a nice game here in the second half of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Both these teams struggling a little bit in the first half. Vanderbilt says we play for 6 seconds all the time. That's what that means. James Franklin trying to get in just the 5th bowl game in Vanderbilt history. And the last one they played in 2008. They played in 1955, 1974, 1982, 2008. Now here at the eve of the end of 2011. It's a program that has had to fight, Ray, and it's one of the things James Franklin talked about, just the perception. He said even when he went to SEC media days, he felt like he was being talked down to.
Yeah, he said they're asking him different kind of questions than they asked everyone else. He said, wait a minute, what's going on here?
What's going on here is Abernathy with a nice-looking return. Nice cutback by Abernathy, and he has a chance to go all the way. And Ralph David Abernathy, the 4th, is in the end zone.
And no flags on that play. Abernathy answers.
90 yards.
Boy, special teams always make a difference in a ball game, and when you can spring one like they did there, that's just huge for Butch Jones and his Cincinnati Bearcats. He's like, let him down. I want some of them.
You saw the gap open up. The question was, could he break a tackle or two? And right around the 40-yard line in Cincinnati territory, he broke a tackle and made the move he needed. And obviously, the great speed. That's his first touchdown return this season. And it's Vanderbilt ball again. Now, the interesting thing here is Cincinnati's defense has to figure out a way to deal with the resurgent Vanderbilt offense. But let's take a look, Ray, at our H&R block never settle play.
Well, Abernathy certainly wasn't going to settle for being behind. He takes this kick and watch him just explode right up this gap. There's the arm tackles that he breaks, and then it's just a foot race, and there's nobody going to catch him. Great execution by the Bearcats return team. A lot of good blocks, a nice cut, and then Abernathy breaking the arm tackles, takes it into the house.
And what impressive closing speed. Last 20, 25 yards. He had folks on his tail, and he left them in the dust.
Yeah, I told you, we were kind of mired in a 7-7 ball game early on, and neither team looked like they were very sharp, and here we are in the second half, and it looks like everybody's finally getting their sea legs a little bit.
Butch Jones had some opportunities in this coaching off-season to look at some other jobs. Folks were chasing him down, but he re-ups with Cincinnati as they have made a commitment to improve football, and so has Vanderbilt when they brought James Franklin on board. There you see what's happened in the last 5:02. If you're just joining us, the game, frankly, has not always been like this, but you've come at a good time. We'll have a seat. 57,000 plus, great crowd here in Memphis on a perfect day. We kicked off at 66 degrees. All right, your turn, Andre Howell. Fumble! Looked like Vandy may have gotten it, but wait a minute, they're still fighting this one over. Yeah, Vanderbilt got it.
Yeah, pretty sure that it looks like Seymour, number 18. Oh, actually, Daniels, number 18. They got 2 number 18s out there playing today. Daniels is the one who ended up on the football, a heads-up play.
It's the only double numbers they have, too, amazingly enough.
Right there, the foot gets tipped, and that kind of leads into the return man not really expecting that hit right there. Big hit coming from number 43. For Cincinnati, and that is Nick Temple, who makes the hit and forces the fumble.
Now under Larry Smith. Vanderbilt's offense has been revived. He'll go deep down the field, down the sideline for Matthews, who makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. A better throw, and he's in the end zone. Let's go to the studio. Robert Flores, we need a couple of seconds to catch our breath. Can you help us out?
Yeah, how about this one? Illinois and UCLA Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl from San Francisco. Terry Hawthorne of the Illini. Terry. He returns it, and the Illini have a 13-7 lead. A couple of bowl games in Texas. Utah beat Georgia Tech in overtime in El Paso, and Texas A&M survives Northwestern at Houston's Reliant Stadium. Dave.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Second down and 10. Smith, drop play. Cincinnati will shut him down after a 3-yard pickup. It looks as if Dan Giordano is on the stop. Let's take a look at the Vanderbilt season recap. 6-6, 2-6 in the SEC. Got out very quickly. In fact, there you see Larry Smith celebrating right in the middle, and then they ran into that SEC buzzsaw. Lost next 3 to all-ranked opponents. Then Jordan Rodgers takes over on October the 22nd. He gets a win in his first start. And then they crushed Wake Forest in North Carolina to become bowl eligible. And here they are trying to get to 7 wins. For some schools, that's a bad year. For Vanderbilt, it would be a big achievement. Trouble. Giordano chasing Smith, but Smith getting away beautifully and then picks up another yard or 2 before he's down at the 35-yard line. Now, to follow up what I just said about 7 wins being a big accomplishment for Vanderbilt, recent Vanderbilt teams, there's no question. Obviously, James Franklin doesn't want to be 7-6 every year. No coach does, but that's one of the things that he has to change.
Right, Dave. They're coming off of consecutive 2-10 seasons after their bowl season in 2008, and a new coach comes in, and boy, he shook things up early on and changed the whole attitude, and he worked these kids so hard that they finally felt like they deserved to win ball games, and that's the way they've gone out and played.
And they're also upgrading their facilities. Low kick. Isaiah Peed. Oh, he wanted to take that. We got to give him a chance to return the punt. That's a 44-yard roller down at the Cincinnati 22-yard line. Happy to see Isaiah Peed back on the field as well. We got word from the Vanderbilt Sports Information staff that Jordan Rodgers, who we have not seen with a helmet since he came out of the game, has been looked at periodically by doctors for a right hip injury. But again, with Larry Smith and the way the Vanderbilt offense has responded, it's not a surprise that Rodgers is not back in there.
Yeah, I believe he was taken out due to performance issues as opposed to injury issues.
And now you see the number for Jordan Rodgers, and he is Aaron Rodgers' younger brother. There were some rumors that he might sneak down after preparing for the Green Bay-Detroit game to watch this one, but he's probably kicking back on TV and watching this one. A little disappointed, I'm sure, for his younger brother. Collaros gets it out. And it's going to be a first down for Cincinnati as the catch made by Alex Chisholm for 13 yards. First down and 10 for Zach Collaros.
That's a long throw right there. It showed you the strength of Zach Collaros' arm as he put that frozen rope in between the 8 and the 0. And that allows Chisholm to move the chains.
That's Peed in motion. And on the zone read, it's Peed, and he got a yard. Boy, Archibald Barnes, number 15, raced up once he diagnosed the play and kept that from being explosive. It'll be second down and 9.
Yeah, Barnes hit the hole like a tailback. And, playing linebacker is a lot like playing running back without the football. You got to find that same hole from a relatively same position that the running back is at. And that time, a great read by Barnes to fill in that gap and meet Peed at the pass.
Time to get the playoff. It'll be Peed again, looking for, oh my goodness, what a run this is. Wow. He didn't get the first down, but that's one of the best 8-yard runs you'll see all year. Garnham finally got him, and I think he's just short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. Goodness, this was a great run.
Yeah, I mean, watch him. He's in the vision there, the quick feet, the hop steps, and just the indomitable will. He just doesn't want to go down to the ground. And now he's getting excited about it. And well, he should.
Oh my, Cincinnati.
And they're bringing in an extra offensive tackle for the unbalanced line to the right. Now they're going to do a little shift action.
And they're all over the place trying to confuse the Vandy defense. That was Andre Curitin, big 79, as George Wynn is in there too. And there's Peed, and there's Wynn, and there's a first down. All that movement, all that motion. formation. It worked just shy of midfield. It's a gain of 6.
That's what you call window dressing, Dave. You know, you try and confuse the defense, move people around, I'll end up with motion, and then they just ran a simple dive play. But all that other stuff beforehand makes the defense go through mental gymnastics. All right, I got to make this adjustment, that adjustment, and then all of a sudden they come at you and you ain't quite ready.
57 plays for Cincinnati, 56 for Vanderbilt today. Plenty of time for Collaros. One, throw too high. Look out. Pete takes a shot in the back from Javon Marshall, this free safety from Huber Heights, Ohio. 2nd down and 10.
Watch this last play. Cincinnati was not ready. There's several guys who didn't get the call. Look at this receiver and this receiver. They're looking over to the sideline as the ball snapped. This guy down here never even moved. It's a good thing they had an individual route called on the backside, or Collaros might have had to eat that one.
Because they're not prepared, and that leaves Cincinnati with just one timeout to carry over the last 9 minutes and 45 seconds of this game. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl is turned into a thriller as the Memphis night starts with cooler weather, but a red-hot game.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
I can tell you about Detroit. It's not what it used to be, unfortunately.
It's tough, you know, and I actually had to move back in with my parents.
And I heard about Second Look on the radio.
They look at your taxes from last year and see if they can get you more money back.
Any money back from the government would help right now.
Ready for the results?
$1,135.
$2,560. $8,600.
H&R Block. Hello, how can I deliver world-class service for you today?
We gave people right off the street a script and had them read it.
No, sorry, I can't help you with that.
I'm not authorized to access that transaction.
That's not in our policy. I will transfer you now.
My supervisor is currently not available.
Would you like to hold? That department is currently closed.
Have I helped you with everything you needed?
If your bank doesn't give you knowledgeable customer service 24/7, you need an Ally. Ally Bank. No nonsense, just people sense.
Let's see if we can get one past the defense.
Hut, go! Here it comes! Write the numbers, boom! Get it, spin! Whoa. Oh, nice hands!
Chest bump. Oh, good job, man. Nice. Okay, halftime. Now this is my favorite play. Oh, I'm wide open. Oh, fumble. Fumble. Don't want to fumble any of these.
Share what you love with who you love. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
It's up. And it's good.
Good. They're great.
Lady Gaga, live. New Year's Rockin' Eve on ABC.
We've had a great time here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Hope you all are going to have and are having a wonderful New Year's Eve. When a legendary explorer mysteriously goes missing on the Amazon River, his family begins a dangerous search to find him. From executive producer Steven Spielberg and the director of Paranormal Activity, Oren Peli. The River series premiere Tuesday, February 7th at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC. Dave Lamont, Ray Bentley upstairs, Quinn Kesnick keeping an eye on things at field level. And our wonderful ESPN and ABC crew, we thank them for all they do for us. Bubble screen, Pete just didn't hang on to it. Plain and simple. It'll be 3rd down and 10. That's 5 drops by Cincinnati receivers today.
A little frustration by Zach Collaros because he has struggled on those screen passes so far today. That one he threw extremely well, only to see it get dropped.
3rd time for Pete today. Surprisingly, he's normally pretty sure-handed. He had 36 catches during the regular season. Pressure from the edge. Collaros hangs in. One-on-one coverage. Underthrown and intercepted. 2nd pick today for Casey Hayward in his 7th on the season.
And this ball is just underthrown by Zach Collaros. And in fact, not only that, he didn't put the trajectory. Now he's limping a little bit on that right ankle. Here's the route. You're going to see it, just a little stutter and go. But the ball is so badly underthrown, the receiver never really had a chance. DJ Woods had no chance on it. Now here's Collaros. Let's see if we can see anything with that right foot. He gets kind of landed on at the end of it. So that's the first time we've seen him take a shot to that foot thus far today. Let's see if he's able to rebound from that.
So after the turnover, Vanderbilt takes over at the 18-yard line. Overthrown, incomplete, second to 10. The studio visit with Robert Flores is in order. Robert?
All right, Dave, the Illini extending their lead in San Francisco at AT&T Park at the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Nathan Shieldhouse, A.J. Jenkins. And Illinois leading 20-7, fourth quarter at AT&T Park.
Robert, thank you very much. What a great setting that is for a football game in San Francisco right there on the water. We have a pretty nice setting here, the tradition of the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Larry Smith, can he go again, dong down that sideline and forget about it. The wind really gusting around here today, too. We're getting some papers blown all over the place. And it's got to be a little tricky now. Look at this. Munchie Legault getting his warm-up tosses in. We have not seen the other quarterback, Jordan Llewellyn, at all. And maybe this means Collaros is not healthy.
Well, you got to take and get Munchie ready just in case. You know, sometimes you take a shot to an injured area and it'll recover pretty quick. But you take that initial blow and you're limping and you're wondering, but you know, a lot of times you'll be able to shake that thing off the more time that you have. We'll see.
Also, I think the ankle hurts more after you throw an interception.
Yeah, that tends to make everything look a little bit worse.
Vanderbilt's going to take a timeout. They have two left. Let's check in with Quint.
You guys made some really good points because, you know, you look at Zach Collaros, and after the doctors and trainer Bob Mangine looked at him, he is fine. I think it's just a case of Munchie Legault saying, you know what, I haven't thrown the ball in about 2 hours. The temperature's dropping. If something will happen to Zach, I got to be ready to go in there. So let's toss the ball a little. Just kind of wake my body, wake my arm up.
Thank you, Quinn. Let's go back and take a look at the play that we showed you earlier and watch the very end of it, what happens to Collaros, and it's the right ankle.
Yeah, that's the ankle that's injured, and no problems here at all, but it's going to be one of these late in the down where he's going to get actually Greenstone gets thrown onto his foot, and that gets, lands on that spot and gets him getting up a little slow and having to deal with that thing. And we go back to this November 12th when they were playing West Virginia at Paul Brown Stadium, a home game, and right there you see the twisting in the ankle getting wrapped up underneath the rusher, Bruce Urban from West Virginia. And that looked like there was no way after that play that Collaros would be able to work himself back to be able to play in a bowl game.
Larry Smith on 3rd and 10 going to try to make it happen, and that Cincinnati defense is not going to let him make it happen. John Hughes, number 40, among the tacklers that time. So a gain of a couple of yards and nothing there. Well, again, we talked about Collaros and what he had to go through. First off, he caught a break on the date of the bowl game. Let's say they were invited to a bowl game that was before Christmas Day. There was no chance he was going to be able to make it. So he caught a break there. Then he had obviously successful surgery, dedicated rehab, hours and hours, and then he would rehab for hours at home, additional.
And Butch Jones, in watching that and watching what Collaros did to get himself ready, that's why he calls it the best story in college football bowl season this year.
And the second best story, Isaiah Pede went for the fair catch. Did he hang on or did he muff it? Let's see.
He definitely muffed it. The question is, did he get back on top of it? And he did initially, but there are some Vanderbilt players down in the bottom of that pile doing everything they can to pull it away from Isaiah Pede.
And they didn't do it. Well, I was about to say that. I was about to joke that the second best story is that he actually made a fair catch, but he didn't make it.
He went for it. Here's your classic muff right here. Took his eyes off the ball, slipped through his arms, down on the ground. He recovered it.
trust the makers of Peak Antifreeze to protect their 600-ton ore haulers from extreme conditions. You can trust Peak Antifreeze's unique formula to help protect your engine from costly repairs. Peak Antifreeze. Protect your ride, no matter what you drive.
Peak Antifreeze. When you peak, you win.
What's going on here?
Hey, what's up, guys?
This is not how witness protection works.
Well, we set you up with that little hardware store. We didn't intend for your face to be everywhere. The FedEx office makes it so easy. Not only do they ship stuff, they print flyers, brochures, everything I need to get my name out there.
That's the problem. Now we need to give you a third identity.
You're Paul Matheson, and you're going to run your business into the ground. Eric Gustafson would never do that.
There is no Eric Gustafson.
Hey, that's Eric Gustafson!
There is no Eric Gustafson.
Small Business Solutions. FedEx. Solutions that matter.
It's time for Texas A&M to change the game. Time to share our Aggie spirit with our new family as we grow together. It's time for Texas A&M.
You can't deny the power of crunchy, flamin' hot Fritos chips, premium seasoned beef, and nacho cheese sauce. Taco Bell's 99-cent Beefy Crunch Burrito is back.
As my world turns, the heartbeat, not only in my chest, but the heart in the street. So when they feel this, they feel me, but I can't feel nothing outside these Dre beats. I am from the city of people, came from the bottom.
Yo, I'm on my way.
Experience your sound like never before. The HTC Resound with Beats Audio built in. Let the pros at Best Buy hook you up today.
There's your score and time in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Zach Collaros rallying his Bearcats. We mentioned what he has done in the last few weeks of the rehab. What about his career at Cincinnati? These are ranks updated through tonight, so he has had a very distinguished college career. And Ray, to be honest, we talked about it. We really don't see him as a pro prospect, but he's ready to take the next step in his life, and that is to become a college coach.
And that's something that he's always wanted to do, and he's been raised to do it in his mind, and he's looking forward to it. But
yes, he is.
To finish this one out.
Well, he's got Isaiah Pede. That's always a good idea. Pede rumbling across into Vanderbilt territory for an 18-yard pickup. He's over 100 yards unofficially. Yep, he is officially now 114 on 21 carries.
I'll tell you, Isaiah Pede to me is NFL ready. I mean, he's an all-around back, incredible explosiveness. I see him as somebody getting a steal in the draft with him coming up next April.
And normally he catches the football better than he has shown today. That's an 8-yard pickup. Casey Hayward has a few words for him after the tackle, and I'm not surprised to see this level of intensity going up. As we've talked about, for both these teams, they have a lot to play for.
You got to give a lot of credit to this Cincinnati offensive line, too. They have picked things up throughout this ball game.
And they go to Pete again. This time he just disappears in the traffic. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 3. For the Bearcats, they're trying to get a 10th win, a 10-win season after winning only 4 last year. And Butch Jones, they're trying to improve the facilities, trying to let everybody know he wants to stay at UC, signs a new deal. For Vanderbilt, a winning season they're playing for. It's only the 5th game the Commodores have ever been in, and we have an injured Vanderbilt player on the turf at around the 40-yard line, and that looks like Tim Fugger, the redshirt senior from Oak Brook, Illinois, in the Chicago area, and it is number 42. So there is no lack of motivation for Vanderbilt. They're trying to prove that they're not the doormats of the SEC. The administration has put some money into it. That's the athletic director, David Williams III, right there in the ball cap with the tie on. They admitted, James Franklin was very honest with it. He said, when I first interviewed, they admitted that they had underachieved in that way. That wasn't his word. That's my interpretation. And they finally realized we have to step up to be competitive.
Yeah, I think the place is really a diamond in the rough. It's an SEC school with great educational standards, and guys, people that come there, they're used to being successful. They're successful in every other walk in their life, but they weren't on the football field, and that just didn't add up for James Franklin. That's the spin he put on it, and that's what he's selling, and a lot of people down in Nashville are buying.
So here's a big play in this football game. 3rd and a couple for UC to keep this drive alive. Collaros that time he followed Pete, and there a little push afterwards. And you see how quickly some of his teammates come in there to defend him. Rob Lohr in there, a junior from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, on the stop. And that's a big chain mover for the Bearcats.
This is a great job of the quarterback, Collaros. Watch him. He's usually on a play like this, he's supposed to go outside after he fakes it. Well, he saw, you know what, I should have given that ball. So instead, I'm going to just follow him up into that same hole that I see. Had he taken that outside, he was going to be doomed. He wasn't going to get the first down. But he made a great fifth-year senior type decision in following his back, Pete, up into the hole and moving the chains.
That's TJ Greenstone limping away. That's a big loss for Vanderbilt. He's an outstanding redshirt senior defensive tackle, a real leader on that front line. Hopefully he'll be able to get back into the game. Man, they're not messing around here. They're just going to give it to their big man, but that time Pete is tripped up by Ladler for a loss of a yard. Well, one of the big improvements, Ray, for Cincinnati in this half and why they've moved the ball is their third down performance. They whiffed on their first 8. Since then, they're 4 out of 6.
And I think, you know, when our buddy Quint interviewed Butch Jones going in at halftime, he said, you know, we've established the run. Well, they've continued to do that here in the second half. And Don Mahoney, their offensive line coach, is one of the best in the country. And he has got this group playing extremely well. He's got 3 seniors, the center, Davis, and then Martinez and Hoffman at left side of the line. They're a bunch of war daddies up there.
Collaros, little option for Pete. Did he make 2 people miss? No, they get him. No gain, really. Chris Marv in there. And John L. Thomas, number 98, a redshirt junior out of the Orlando area in there. So no gain. It's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Good hustle by Thomas. He not only made the play, but he also forced the pitch. And that's on Collaros. He needed to attack Thomas a little bit more before he made that pitch, so it at least takes him out of the other part of the play.
Backfield set. Collaros lobs it up into the wind. That's got to be a flag. I realize Eddie Foster's going to argue this, but and he's going to claim that he was held.
Well, he thinks that he got face masked is what his complaint is, and we'll find out if he did.
I don't think he's going to get the call, though, regardless of what the replay shows.
Well, they're talking about it. So.
This is a Pac-12 officiating crew, by the way. Land Clark is the referee.
Pass interference on the defense, number 16. The ball be placed in spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
All right, let's see if they were on the spot, as they have been pretty much all day today.
Yeah, I didn't see a face mask out of that, and I certainly did see pass interference as Foster, he wrapped him up. Didn't let McClung get past him.
We review Ray Bentley's focus points for Cincinnati, and Isaiah Peed has certainly paid off. We'll revisit those in a moment. George Wynn in there at tailback, and it's Collaros who's willing to take a hit. This might be the last drive of his career at Cincinnati, for all we know. That's a 3-yard pickup. So your second focus point was to knock the rust off of Collaros and then stopping Zach Stacy, and how have they done so far?
Well, you see the numbers right there, and I'll tell you what, if Collaros still had rust on him, he just got it knocked off on that last running play. But he has played much better in the second half. I think he's run this offense pretty good. You saw in the last one, they have shut down Zach Stacy, relatively, only allowing 53 yards. He's a guy that averages over 100 every game. So I think they did a nice job hitting those focus points.
2nd down and 7. The clock bleeding away slowly, but it's still so close that Vanderbilt may not be an issue yet. They run wide, and this is going to help them. His speed gets nothing and gets out of bounds. Marvin there again for Vanderbilt, number 13 on the stop. What a career he has had. He's already graduated, and he's got big plans. He's not even sure about the NFL, but he is certain that he wants to do something with his life. Maybe running for the mayor of Memphis. He's home. He's got about 100 family members around here today. He's playing his last college game in his hometown, the town he has deep affection for.
And he's such a leader. leader with this Vanderbilt team. When James Franklin got the job, it was Chris Marv who went to the airport and picked him up when he showed up in Nashville, and just wanted to get off on the right foot and let the coach know, I'm here, baby, and I'm going to do what I got to do to get this thing going the right direction, and he's been a big part of it.
Colares, middle of the field toward the end zone, missed it. 4th down and 7 coming up.
Colares wants pass interference. His receiver either mistimed his jump or just never got off the ground or jumped up. It looked like he jumped up into the defender, Richardson, and that's no fault of Richardson, so they did a nice job of keeping the flag in their pockets.
Big kick coming up for Tony Miliano, who's 1 for 2. Again, we've talked about the low trajectory on his kick. This one will be 39. There's blocked. The 4th kick blocked against Cincinnati, and down the sideline is Wilson, but he cannot stay in bounds.
Looked to me like that was number 15, Archibald Barnes, who jumped up and got the block. And he's going to come from the outside. He's going to go between that guard. This area is right here. Watch the effort he gives getting through there and then laying out to get the block on this kick. Bam, right there, knocks it down. That's an outstanding play, but not a good kick. That kick's got to come up higher. There's no way the guy on the edge should ever be able to block a kick coming on that type of an angle.
And that's been a problem for the Bearcats. The 4th time Miliano has been blocked, and now Vanderbilt with some momentum off of that. They have 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line with 2 timeouts, and Larry Smith taking over for Jordan Rodgers at quarterback. This is Zach Stacy. He has been held largely in check, but he rips everybody across for about a 4-yard pickup to the 36-yard line. Blocked field goals have cost Cincinnati before. Remember that November the 12th game when Colares was hurt? Well, Tony Miliano had a chance to tie this with 3 seconds to go, and it was blocked in West Virginia. Or excuse me,
by West Virginia at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, ending the Bengals' 6-game win streak. Zach Stacy has now gone over 2,000 career rush yards. It took him a while to get there. He began with 1,945. Across the middle, intercepted by Cincinnati, taken by Nick Temple. And Jordan Matthews, he has this ball, and he just tips it right to the defender for the interception. I mean, this is just good luck for Nick Temple and the Cincinnati Bearcats. You go, watch this thing. This is a good pass right here. Bam, hits him in the hands. Actually, it was a little bit behind him. And you got to give that much to Matthews. Larry Smith threw that ball a little bit behind him, but he tipped it directly to Nick Temple. The true freshman makes the interception. 3rd Vanderbilt turnover. We've had 5 turnovers in the game. And now the Vanderbilt defense will be asked to come up with a big stop here. Cincinnati takes over at the Vandy 31-yard line. Got to think we're going to get a heavy dose of Isaiah Peed here. And they fake it to him. Colares underneath to Kelsey, the big tight end. What a play there. Chase Garnham has played an outstanding game for Vanderbilt. He held that to a 3-yard gain, 2nd down and 7. And the good news for Vanderbilt is Garnham is only a sophomore. Yeah, he's been outstanding. Excuse me, when he went out, it really created a hole in this Vanderbilt defense, and to have him back full speed, you can see the impact that he makes as you get ready for that Chick-fil-A Bowl coming up next. Should be fun. What a great story Virginia has been this year, and Auburn is always entertaining. This is Isaiah Peed. Turns on the Jets. Peed inside the 15, and he's finally hurled out of bounds by Garnham. But Isaiah Peed for 16 yards. I'm telling you, this offensive line, coached by Don Mahoney, is outstanding. Watch these guys step, and get their blocks, and there's nobody getting off a block. I mean, nobody's able to get off the block and get away from the guy on him to come off and make a play. And when you give that kind of effort for a guy like Isaiah Peed, he's going to reward you with a heck of a run behind you, and he did it again. The Peed
cheering section right there. There you see his numbers. And when does Vanderbilt start to use those 2 timeouts? It's Pete again. They may not have to. He'll stroll in. Isaiah Pete may have wrapped up the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Great blocking again. A little bit of over pursuit by the second level of the Vanderbilt defense. You can't do that to a guy with the vision that Isaiah Pete has, because he will sting you with it every time.
And that vision led at once, I'm sure, out of that left side there. He saw how open it was once he got away from the traffic, and it was a stroll. Saw Pete do the Superman that Cam Newton made famous, and he has been today.
Yeah, he started out a little slow, but I'll tell you what, Isaiah Pete really came to play here this afternoon. The cutbacks that he's been able to do, and then the quick feet, and he just won't go down. One man very seldom will be able to get him down. And then when he does put the foot in the ground and turns it up north and south, oh, he's extremely explosive. I mean, this guy is a next level type of runner, and you will be hearing his name quite a bit on Sunday afternoons, I have to imagine. And here it is, his other touchdown that he had. Wasn't quite a touchdown on that one.
No, but it was still a pretty
good run. You know what I mean? And he is, David, in my opinion, and in fact, the opinion of everybody here,
Capital One player of the game. That was unanimous vote.
I was going to say Capital One. It's actually the AutoZone Liberty Bowl player of the game. And we got ahead of ourselves. We're going to do that one in a... Oh, they're going to name it Capital One just for the whole bowl week?
Just for the player of the game.
Okay, God.
We are at the AutoZone Liberty.
I started to say Capital One. I thought, we'll get there. We'll be there on Monday.
Didn't Marv Levy ever teach you to take it one game at a time?
Yeah, I never listened to that. He's too busy.
Wait a minute. Now, Marv's probably watching one of his old boys. Don't say that. Now, you got to say, where else would you rather be but right here, right now to make up for it?
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
There you go.
No, I mean that.
No, you kidding? I love this.
Come on.
All right, now, Larry Smith. It's on him. 2 timeouts.
He's going to have some work to do.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot against the Cincinnati defense. They have adjusted to Larry Smith. That's the other thing. He came in, I don't know how much, I'm sure Cincinnati prepared for Larry Smith. There's no question they did. But he changed everything. The tempo changed, all of it changed. But now Cincinnati has adjusted.
The problem with Larry Smith, though, is the passing game is not his strength. And that's what they need, is a pure passer right now. And they also need guys to hang on to the football.
Yeah, Brandon Barden that time. Unable to hang on to. By the way, particularly for those of you who are Cincinnati fans, at the conclusion of our game, just log on to ESPN3 to see live coverage of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl trophy presentation. And some of you who are watching us via that website, just stay right there and you'll be able to see that. 2nd and 10. Dumps it off to Zach Stacy. And Stacy wisely gets out of bounds, but he's short of the first down. Gain of 5, 3rd down and 5. I like how James Franklin has that attached to his belt, so no matter what, that play calling sheet isn't going anywhere. That's thoroughness right there. That's thinking of everything.
He's probably lost one at one point or another and said, I need a way to fasten this thing to me. Well, he needs to find some magic on that play sheet.
He needs to start getting down the field a little more quickly. Now it's going to be a 1st down as Brandon Barden made the catch, but there's a flag down back at the 26-yard line.
It's been a late hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense, number 54. A 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
Well, that'll get him down the field quickly. And with no time on the clock, Walter Stewart is called for this.
Yeah, and no excuse for it. Stewart just keeps going. He actually hits him in the head with his right hand, and he came just late, and there's no need for that at this point in the game, particularly.
And James Franklin agitated momentarily about something. Don't forget, we have our game day special edition coming up. We'll tell you more about that in a moment, but you're going to want to stay with the game day group. Smith under fire, and he throws it away. Now, I mentioned a special game day edition. What's going to be in and all that? Well, here's what you got. Monday morning, you can catch the special edition of College Game Day from the Rose Bowl, 10 o'clock in the morning in ESPNU. That'll be an hour. We'll move it to ESPN for 2 hours. Oregon's Chip Kelly and Wisconsin's Brett Bielema will be on the set live. Leads up to the Capital One Bowl, number 20 Nebraska, number 9 South Carolina. Then at 4:30, it's the Rose Bowl game on ESPN, number 10 Wisconsin, 5th ranked Oregon. That's all Monday at ESPNU and ESPN. Underneath, well short of the first down. Third down coming up and about 5 to go. Cincinnati just keeping everything in front of them as they should. Chris Williams among the tacklers there for UC, and it's beginning to look more and more for a big bowl win for the Big East. No conference, and all the conference upheaval that dominated the headlines for the last few months in college football, no conference has been cuffed around more than the Big East. This is probably a very gratifying win to take down an SEC school.
Oh, there's no question about it. That'll be a great source of pride for everybody in the Big East. And you're right, Dave. They do take a lot of grief. But a lot of it they bring on themselves, because when they do have opportunities in the regular season to go play, people from the SEC, the ACC, and that, they don't often do particularly well. And then, you have what people think is an injustice, where the winner of that conference will go to a BCS game where other programs are, without a doubt, more deserving to be in that type of ball game. So I can understand some of the problems that people have with that whole situation.
Clock is adjusted a couple of seconds, so it's 1 minute and 1, and now counting. Under some pressure, nifty move by Smith, and open at the 25-yard line. And inside the 20 is Jordan Matthews. Vanderbilt just with one timeout, a gain of 25. They're going to have to really move. The clock will start when the umpire says he's ready, and the chains are in position.
Excuse me, Dave. They need to throw it in the end zone right now. You have to get your touchdown as quickly as possible. That means throw it in the end zone. They're letting time run off. They've got confusion, and they have to burn a timeout.
And this is their last one. And you saw the word confused, along with a couple of others that I can't say, come out of James Franklin's mouth. Well, Ray's mentioned this one, and so have we. The next game of the Capital One Bowl week is tonight on ESPN. It's the Chick-fil-A Bowl, featuring Virginia, one of the surprise teams in the nation, facing last season's national champions, 25th-ranked Auburn. The Chick-fil-A Bowl tonight on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. That bowl is always sold out. It is always exciting. It is always loud in the Dome in Atlanta. What do you think, Ray? You do the analysis normally. Let me try to analyze. What's the difference between Auburn from 2010 and 2011 points? Did they change quarterbacks?
Yeah, imagine that.
I think so.
The impact that Cam Newton had on Auburn was simply a national championship, which is pretty good. Pretty good.
You know what he's done in the NFL this year has exceeded expectations, I would think.
Not mine, to be honest with you. Okay. I thought he was going to step right in there and have the kind of year that he did. I mean, he's a freak athlete who has all the tools, and he's only going to get better.
Let's see if Vanderbilt follows Ray's dictum to get in the end zone now. They're going to try. Up for grabs, overthrown, incomplete. Matthews, the intended receiver. Devin Drain in there on the coverage. Second down and 10.
I continue to take shots into the end zone. You get to fourth down, you kick your field goal, and then kick your onside kick because you're down 10. But you really would like to, if you're Vanderbilt, to get a touchdown out of this particular drive and then only have to get the field goal on the back end.
James Franklin's hopes of a winning season in his first year at Vanderbilt fading. Gonna try again. Has a chance here. Oh, almost a great catch by Boyd. Cheatham in there on the coverage. Third down and 10.
You know, it's kind of sad that Vanderbilt, if they lose this game, will have a losing record. And I think it'll take a little time, but eventually they'll stand back and look at what they accomplished this year, which is a heck of a lot. I mean, from where they've been and the kind of of the tone that Coach Franklin has set now for this program, the expectations. I see them being a bowl team again next year going forward.
Pressure from the edge to the middle of the end zone, sliding incomplete. Matthews had a chance, and Drew Fry, 26, celebrating with his teammates. Vanderbilt's last shot right here.
Great play by Fry at the end of this, because it did look like touchdown for Matthews, but Fry gets in and is able to knock it down right at the last instant. See him get his helmet, actually, is what hit the football. He knocked it out with his head. And here they are. They are going to get that field goal as they need 10 points.
So this is a 35-yard attempt for Ryan Fowler, and that's all he's done this year. If he makes this kick, it would be the longest in his career. Or is it a fake? Nope. And he makes it. All right, good job for the redshirt junior. Well,
now you're going to have your onside kick, and that's really the first step as to what Vanderbilt has to do, because then you have to get in the end zone, get yourself a touchdown, then you make the decision whether or not you're going to try to win the thing here or go into overtime. But there's a lot that has to happen before they can get to that decision.
So 23 seconds left, and that's pretty much it. Very simple. Do this right or get ready to make the trip back to Nashville. Vanderbilt has tried one onside kick this year, and they didn't execute it. Well, they tried it, and it didn't work. How about that?
I'll buy that. That's a tough thing to do, especially when people are anticipating it.
Yes.
But that spheroid will take some funny bounces, and you never know.
That is the new style of turf, so it's not regular old grass. So you never know is right. And you've got two kickers out there.
Yeah, and they've got it set up. They can go either way with it. I think they're going to go into the short side because it looks to me, I don't know. We'll see which kicker goes first. There you go, short side.
So it's Fowler, and that's it. Cincinnati easily recovers it. DJ Woods makes the catch. He hasn't been a big part of the UC offense, but he wraps up the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. This is the highest scoring Liberty Bowl since South Carolina beat Houston, where they racked up 80 points, what turned out to be the ball coach's first bowl win as the Gamecocks boss.
Look at Butch Jones. He's still working. It ain't over just yet. But I'll tell you, you got to tip your cap to what Butch Jones and his staff have been able to do in such a short time since coming to Cincinnati. You know, he said the group last year kind of had some entitlement issues. Some of those guys thought they had things coming to them, and he had to break them of that habit. They went in January 3rd. They had their first meeting last year. He handed out T-shirts. Be a champion. Everything they've done from that time to this time was all about becoming a champion. They did so in the Big East, and now they're your AutoZone Liberty Bowl champions as well.
4 wins last season. They took down every reminder of the 2010 season when the year changed to 2011. And now as we get ready to ring in 2012, they will have a ton of momentum into the offseason with a 10-victory year for Butch Jones. 6 more wins than a season ago. And for Vanderbilt, no disgrace. They do finish 6 and 7, but as Ray mentioned, optimism in Nashville around this team, attention in the community to this team is peaking, and there's nowhere to go but up, and you feel like they're already on their way there with James Franklin and his staff. Let's go on down to Quint with the winning coach, Butch Jones. Quint?
Coach, congratulations. What was the turning point in the second half?
Well, I think Ralph David Abernathy, when he hit the kickoff return, and we have a big 3, and that was one of them. We needed to score on a kickoff return. We've been close all year, and he took it to the house.
How do you best describe what Isaiah Pete was able to do? You sent him to the locker room. He had some hamstring issues, 149 yards.
Played like the Big East Offensive Player of the Year.
10 wins, a bowl win for your seniors. What does this mean for Cincinnati?
It means everything. I still feel our program is in an elite status. It's very hard to have 10 wins. You know, the other thing is we live in a sports center society. the greatest story in this bowl season, Zach Collaros. They see him making plays here, but they don't see the 8 hours in the training room and the rehab. People turn Sports Center on and see the highlights, but they don't know what went on behind the scenes to get him ready to play tonight.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank
Go
you.
celebrate.
Thank you.
I think you will, Quint, and thank you very much. And, well, we like the fact that we live in a sports-centered society, but the coach makes a great point about the contributions and the sacrifice made by Zach Collaros. Once again, our final score is Cincinnati 31 and Vanderbilt 24. Don't forget tonight on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern, Virginia faces number 25 Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. For live coverage of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl trophy presentation, log on to ESPN3. For Ray Bentley, Quint Kesnick, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont saying so long and Happy New Year from Memphis, Tennessee.